YouTubers are here, everybody. No, you can't do that. You can't do that with the YouTubers here. They're gonna, no, that's gonna like demonetize me. No, demonize me. No, I can't, we can't have that here. You guys can't curse, you can't smoke or drink, and you can't spit. No, don't, stop that, stop it. That's inappropriate for the YouTubers. It's like a bunch of Protestants a bunch of Mormons, just a bunch of religious-y weirdos walked in. But not the fun kind of weird religious-y weirdos that do like orgies and stuff. It's the ones that censor media, which is like the worst kind. It's terrible. But they're here, and we've just got to be careful, okay? We got to be really, we're on eggshells. Our eggshells are on eggshells, and we got to be super careful not to say, I don't know how the censor button is like 6 feet away from me right now. It's on the other side of the desk. And so I can't actually like say stuff and have the beep noise come up. I have a beep noise maker, but I'm not set up to use, I'm not set up to do the morning zoo radio show stuff right now. That's for game streams, which we haven't done in 4 years. I haven't done a game stream since Jedi Knight 2. Eggshell the paint. Now that's what we're watching dry, but we're walking on the eggshells, and those eggshells are on other eggshells. It's a lot of eggshells. We gotta be careful with it. YouTube needs to be coddled. It needs to be coddled. We gotta be really careful with it. But you stream on YouTube all the time. No, what I'm saying is, like, for the very beginning of the YouTube stream, I'm pretty sure, because Google's notorious for never getting rid of anything, and they used to have a system where if you cursed in the first 30 seconds of a video, like a cut video, not a live stream, you cursed in that time frame, they would just wipe you from all discoverability. And the whole purpose of my having mid-roll ads and the whole purpose of my streaming on YouTube is to be discoverable. I would like for more people to see my stream, obviously, because I'm not, when I get to like 300 people, then I'll have a talk with myself about whether or not I want to keep promoting, you know? But anyway, that obviously that's never going to happen. So, but I need to always be trying to get numbers. And so to do that, I've done mid-roll ads and I go live on YouTube. And so I'm pretty suspicious of Google having disabled that first 30 seconds curse. So if you curse in the first 30 seconds of a video, does really nothing happen to you? Did they really turn that off? For live streams, I don't know. So the more filth that comes out of my mouth, and I can get pretty filthy. I usually keep it moderately clean, but I'm not immune to cursing all the time. I believe that it'll hurt my discoverability. I think it'll poison the algorithm, which is probably already completely poisoned against me. Father, how are you doing today? I'm fine. I had a meatball hoagie for lunch. Well, it was more like an open face meatball sandwich kind of deal. The key to it is you have a nice piece of bread, you toast it a little, and you put butter on the bread, and then the meatball with the marinara sauce, and then the whatever cheese you're having. We didn't have provolone, so I used mozzarella. And then put it under the broiler until it starts to crisp the mozzarella just a little bit. That's the key to a really good meatball hoagie. I didn't put pepper on it. I didn't put red pepper flakes. I should have done that. Well, anyway, it was a small piece of like it's not French bread, but it was that shape of loaf. Isn't ball-shaped meat the most ineffective way to heat up meat? I guess so. I guess it's the best way to retain meat heat as well. I cut them in half. They were semispheres. Assume a non-spherical uniform density meat cow. But yeah, they were delicious. They were good. It made a damn good meatball hoagie that I ate with a fork. What do we got? 5 stream streak from Ghost Lab. Well, thank you for that, Ghost Lab. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, so I've just been working. Tuesday, a lot of weird stuff happened, and then Wednesday threw us into power craziness. It was, Tuesday's stream probably could have happened if I wasn't completely overwhelmed with life. But then Wednesday, just the power was jumping all over the place. Things were crazy. And I'm sitting here trying to solder. We've had the Willow's buddy over most of the days as well. And he's been kind of a thing. Walking a boy dog that's not as lazy as your girl dog is exhausting. He wants to always have a little pressure on the leash, so no matter how fast I'm going, he wants to go a little bit faster, just a little bit faster. It's exhausting. He's used to having one of those real leashes, and I have just like a solid leash. So with the real leash, there's always a little bit of pressure pulling back on the dog, and I think that's what he expects in a walk. But he has enjoyed it immensely because his owner is elderly, and his owner doesn't move as quickly as I do. So, and I appreciate it because I'm actually getting a little bit of exercise with the walks instead of just getting the body moving. I'm getting a little bit of extra exercise. Exercise. Only there's a word for that. Hello, may I have some good temperature inertia meat? No, I'm gonna hold on to it under the surface. I'll burn the outside, and then the molten core will remain molten, much like a Hot Pocket. No, but man, that was a good. I'm proud of my lunch and its smaller portion. I kept the portion down. I'm probably going to be burping in the stream. There's no avoiding it. It happens literally every time I open my big stupid mouth. Is just like my stomach is like, all right, cool, and then it just goes molten. So that's unavoidable. But I tried to moderate today. We'll see what happens. How's everybody out there in internet land? Not a lot's been going on. I mean, for me, I've been battening down the hatches here and trying to get progress into these modules, because we're getting close to building some of these, and I need to put together a big DigiKey parts order. I ordered some new sample books. I figure once the sample book starts to deplete, it's probably better for my time just to toss all of them. I may keep the sleeves and the book for like a future sleeved book maybe. But I did buy a complete replacement for the resistor ones. And I'm gonna get rid of the big resistor things. And then I bought a whole bunch of new capacitors because I'm starting to run out in certain areas. And I ordered some capacitor specifics. I don't know what all is in this, but this is not expensive. But this builds up my my capacitor collection of slightly larger ones, because these are the small ones, and there's a couple values that are missing in here. So doing good. Heck yeah. Keep mouth closed. I probably have garlic breath, yes. I think there was a lot of garlic in the meatballs. Meat the ball. It was not a spicy meatball. It was a good meatball. It had meat and ball. Free stream streak from Baron Gear. Hell yeah. Yeah, we're doing more of the Eurorack stuff. It's a good way for me to just kind of fill up the stream and get stuff done at the same time. Julian had his little comments about his actually really important to my setup comments. They were not small. Oh, I need to find these switches too. Switches get stitches. I need to find the appropriate switches for the whatever this thing is, the 3 toms. We got to keep that in mind. I'll do this. This is a cool board though, and it's hopefully going to do some cool stuff. I'm really excited about this one. The problem is, as common as a 4015, what is it? Like a carryover. It's a 4-bit. What do you call those things again? Fucking call. Oh God, I'm cursing. I'm so sorry, YouTube. Oh, YouTube chat. Sorry. Autofill and activate. Who do we have? Nobody. Okay, yeah. When I don't stream one day in the week, things kind of go crazy. I may pick up on Wednesdays a little bit every now and then. Just do a Wednesday stream just to keep my my viewership going. We've got about 30 minutes until an ad. But the 4015, that's what I was looking for. All right. What's up, Shadow Cat? The 4015 is a 4-bit dual flip-flop. So 2 4-bit flip-flops, I think, or 2 2-bit flip-flops that make a 4-bit. Whatever. It's got flippy floppies in it. And flip-flops are a thing where you can take a 1 or a 0 and you flip it over. And it's a little baffling when you kind of get into the weeds with them, but generally they're just used as like kind of a memory element for 7400 series logic kind of circuits. But what this does is it uses the 4015. I think one uses a flip-flop and the other's a counter. I don't know. But it basically will take your sound and flip-flop it and sort of crush it down into 4 bits, is my understanding. It's a nonlinear circuits, and it's a big circuit board. There's a lot of stuff going on this. I'm excited about this one because it does something similar to a lab that I did at university, which was where we took an A to D and a D to A, and we used a counting circuit to store the analog in a little RAM chip, and then we recalled it back out of the RAM chip, and so we made like a quick little voice recorder. It was kind of a cool lab. Cool lab, bro. If I knew what I knew now in that lab, I would have had commentary about the amateurish analog and D to A and A to D setup. I would have had comments about the operational amplifier portion of the circuit. I would have been like, this is crap. It's gonna sound like crap. We can do it better like this. Get less high frequencies. I didn't expect this order to have so many capacitors in it. This is like a lot, and I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna like organize them. Maybe I'll just throw them into like this capacitor bin, because this is the one that's depleting. It's like running out of caps. So I think I'm gonna shove all of these in there, and then this will be an absolute nightmare every time I bring it out. Yeah, we don't do lab coats here. I'm a little cleaner than that. It is going to be a sweltering. I can't even read that. They're so small. Futuro brother. Screw that guy. Cool jacket. This is a shirt. This is just the grayest, plattest shirt that I have. This is not clean. I smell today. I am doing laundry, but currently, so I will not smell tomorrow. No lab coats, only plaid coats. It's just a shirt. It's just a shirt. It's just a shirt. It's not a coat. It's not a coat. This is what I wear as a shirt. I put a coat on over this and then I die because it's like 90 degrees out and the humidity is insane. The clothes just stick to you out there. It was horrible, horrible. The problem is I'm stuck wearing long sleeves, long pant legs, full pant legs. And no, it's not a petticoat. And a full plaid, thick shirt, because I only have so many thin, wispy shirts. Need to get more of those. But also because it's freezing down here. All of the because it's so hot out. It's so hot out. The whole house tries to cool itself, and it all settles down in the basement where I am. And these are insulated walls and ceiling. So this room really holds on. It's good that it's cold down here, but I need to wear this or else I'm going to be shivering. Like all the blood is like leaving my hands and stuff because it's like low 70s in this. Do you have vents in the basement too? No air gets down here. I don't have windows or vents. Neither of those. Yeah, it's built like a one of those chest refrigerators that you open up. Apparently those are super efficient. I'm gonna do it again. What's up, Haystack? I gotta keep the beer cold. I haven't brewed anything in so long. I have the full indoor heated recirculating electric mash tune brewing system that we built on stream in 2016. And I've done many a good brew with that. I had a really good North German alt beer that I liked a lot. And I meant to keep stuff going. I had stored the grains appropriately for a long time, and then I did a brew with them, and they tasted like old grains. It was horrifying. So I would need to reorder all of my supplies again. I need to go through some of that stuff. We threw out a lot of it because the house got a rat at one point. Where's the rat? We got a rat at one point, and so the rat got into the stored grains. It was a hard winter. But yeah, so all that stuff is in the other part of the basement. I need to, well, I've already made it as compact as it gets. I just need to reorganize it a little bit. But yeah, I would be ready to do a brew like today if I could. Brewing would offset the cold. The 2-hour boil would be a nightmare because I've done that before. I got all this air handling equipment in that window in order to exhaust all of the because you do a 2-hour boil that puts a lot of moisture in the air, and so my entire mill was covered in a light film of rust. And I had no idea at the time that you're supposed to put like a little rust prevention stuff on your mill. I do that now, although things are getting a little rusty over there. I do that now, but like back then I had no idea. No, the stream that I would love to do, the variety stream that I would love to do, is take apart the mill and then put it back together properly, because I never tuned it up when I got it, and you need to tune it up. You need to get all the slides running nice and parallel and tight, and mine doesn't quite have that. You can kind of, like if you push on the table, it'll do this. So SOS pad with dish soap, yeah, that's how it would be, like a Brillo adventure to get all that stuff off. And then I've got like a T9 like rust prevention coating that can go on. But you know, all the grease is the original grease inside of that thing, and I'd rather replace it with red grease at this point. And you know, it still works. I mean, the thing works as a drill press just fine. But you know, elevating it back into being a mill, fixing the X-axis DRO, that needs to happen at some point. That's not happened, and right now I'm kind of inundated with stuff. I think, you know, before that we need to work on the sim setup, and I need to get some of this eurorack stuff packed up and sort of in a good state. So we have the module that we designed that's still coming in the mail, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything lately about it, which I guess is good, but how many cameras do I have? I mean, I've got enough, you know, we've got enough to kind of like, you know, I've got, you know, I have a couple cameras. There's a few. I actually have an old webcam in a bag right now, and I need to see whether or not I can get that working as another camera. When you have this many cameras, by the way, as a streamer setup, you need to actually buy USB PCIe cards. And the reason for that is if you're using this many webcams, especially Logitech webcams, which are what all of my webcams are, because Logitech webcams allow you to get a lot of bang for the buck, like a lot of bang for the buck. These need to be far away from each other on the USB peripheral stack. In all their identities need to be far enough apart. So I have different models, and I also have PCIe cards in the computer, and so each camera plugs into its own PCIe card with more USB ports that aren't used. And so these things use up a lot of bandwidth too. It's really not a great setup, to be honest, but it's what I could cobble together for very cheap. Yeah. What happens if they're close is the computer just thinks one is the other and the other is the one, and you can't get into the settings and stuff. And because of an error or like a bug that's been in Logitech cameras since the dawn of time, I guess, the settings don't stick between uses, between sessions of the camera. So if I close OBS and open it back up, the camera looks like crap, and you have to go in there and you have to jostle a couple settings in order to get it to respond to you properly, and then you get these beautiful lush images that you're seeing right now, full color 1080p. But without it, it's like washed out and weird. Yeah, each camera has to be not necessarily a separate USB controller, but it needs to be far apart enough on that controller, and then each controller is going to be dedicating a lot of their bandwidth to that camera. So that's why you need a couple different PCIe USB cards. You can't just get a hub necessarily to do that. And that's why over here on this setup, this is all remote for the computer that's in the rack. There's a USB-C hub here because this Stream Deck uses up quite a bit of bandwidth and electrical energy. So we have the webcam, the Steam Deck, the keyboard, the mouse, any other little things, and microcontroller programming are all the way out here on their own sort of high-speed hub. What are you linking in the... What is this? This is when Haystack gets banned. What is this guy doing? Unusual shop tips. Oh, I'm going to want to watch that later. That's from Dan Gelbart. All right. Yeah, I got to watch that. I appreciate that kind of stuff. 1355 timestamp. Okay, hold on. It didn't take me to the timestamp when I clicked it. 11, 12, 13, 30, 40. Hot, melts aluminum into a puddle. Spot welding. Oops, I went to 14. Hold on, I overclicked. 1355. 40. Wait, what is this? What is he doing? Talking about spot welding? Is he talking about friction welding? Okay, here's the actual one. Question I'm asked, how do you protect things from rust, especially in a situation where they could be exposed to water? Water. Don't look at me, YouTube. I'm not stealing anybody's content. I mean, nickel plating, yeah. So he wants me to nickel plate my entire mill. That's not going to happen. Okay, this guy needs to get to the point. Electroless nickel coating? Another place located, water jet cutter. Right here, some of the mist eventually reach here. 25 years later, not a drop of rust. So he did electroless nickel. How does that work? Huh, fascinating. Yeah, anyway, that whole video I'm going to watch some other time. What am I missing? What? Just tell me. Tell me, I'm streaming. I don't have time to sit and listen to a YouTube video. Oh, just SOS pad and soap. Yeah, I know about that. That's the method that I would have used, yes. And you're going to say, no, you missed the specific thing that I was trying to tell you. The thing that I haven't said yet in chat that you missed, that was in that video, where if you sit down for 10 minutes, 20 maybe, just the first hour of the video, and you'll get that one little tip that I was trying to say that I refused to type. We have 15 minutes until an ad, and then we'll get started. You don't scrub the rust off. What do you do? Why is it? Okay. I'll never know. I'll watch the video later and then I'll know what we're talking about. But it's not just that thing that I need to like de-rust. This little guy right here too is getting a little growed. Getting a little grody. Although I guess it's okay. It's just darkening a little bit. It's covered in finger oil. It prevents the rust outright. Huh. Well, I'll have to see. I'll have to watch that. Sounds fascinating. But I mean, like, there are oils that you're supposed to actually rub on the milling machine instead of just SOS and soap. It's actually like called T9, and I think there's another one that works better, and I don't remember which one it is, but yeah. We're waiting for, we've got another ad just in the pipeline here, so we're waiting for that to expire, and then I think we'll be good. It is the day after the anniversary of that big riverboat fight. Everyone should know. 10W30. That's pretty light, but I guess if it coats, but you'll end up smelling like a motor oil then. That's kind of where T9, I don't think it smells, I don't know, man. I gotta brush up on all my machining stuff. I haven't done any machining in a long time. We've had some good stuff going on there. We've made some cool things, and one of the things that I've wanted to do, and I don't know, maybe it's a little obsolete now, but is to convert this to an aluminum enclosure, and then I can have a locking USB, like a screw-on USB port, and that's something that I need to also figure out for the microscope, is a screw-on USB port, because if I move this too much, I'm very careful about how I move this, Because if I move it too much, this camera will freeze, and then I need to restart a whole bunch of my applications in order to get the stream up and running again. Also need to vacuum. There's a lot of dog hair. But I gotta like a big cleanup session in store. Right now, we are just gonna do like resistor soldering. We're gonna do miscellaneous soldering of parts that I've received in the mail and put them on a bunch of these different modules so that we can get things running again. This is a nonlinear circuits, and it has a lot of these 10 ohm capacitors on it. 10 microfarad rather, 10 microfarad capacitors are all over this board. And I'm a little reticent to install all of these giant caps. I guess I will. I mean, I bought the caps to be installed in this manner, but it seems like the bloke over at Nonlinear Circuits is doing things that I don't think you need giant electrolytic capacitors for. I wonder if I can get away with some ceramics on this thing. And then we got to find a voltage regulator for it. I don't know how many 7805 TO92 chips I have. This one is almost completely ready to go. We have to find the thingy-wingies for it, the knobs for it, and we need to make a dual Vactrol, which it took us all of last stream to make one Vactrol. Turned out well. I mean, it looks really good, right? It's as tall as the capacitors in this setup. If I really wanted to, I guess I could install surface mount ceramic 10 UFs where they're appropriate. I don't know if it needs to be electrolytic to do DC blocking. The ceramics do that, but then I could maybe make that shorter. But I guess this is appropriate if the whole thing is this height. Question is if I can even plug in that. That's going to be something we need to install before I do all of the knobs, after the capacitors. Random saxophone. What up, Squiddy? Cam 4 in a sealed space scales up to room size. Cam 4? What? Hold on, what is that word? Can I not highlight things on my computer? Is my computer freezing? No, we're good. We had so many power issues yesterday during these sort of heavy rains. Strong smelling waxy white solid extracted from the wood of the camphor tree. Tropical pain relief. I guess it's also like a Cosmoline. What's going on? We got an ad break in 11 minutes here, so I'm gonna let that 11-minute ad break go on. We'll see if my ad break text comes up, and if it doesn't, I don't know what to do. I probably need to restart OBS, and I'm not about to restart OBS. So either way, once that ad break hits, we're gonna start working on stuff here. Self-aerolizes inside the toolbox to leave a code preventing rust. Can I like hide some in the side panels of my car? Because that's happening now. That happened. My car, the sills on the BMWs with the sunroof have these drain tubes that come down the A-pillar. I think it's the A-pillar. Yeah, no. D-pillar? No, D-pillar's in the back. C-pillar's in the front. What's the middle one? The I-pillar? No. A-pillar. Yeah, that's the A-pillar. Okay, anyway, sunroof, drains, tubes down the A-pillar. Oh, the B-pillar. Oh, I forgot about the B. Why is that the B-pillar? Hold on a second. No, you know what? I don't trust chat. Trust no chat. Car pillars. It is the B pillar. It is the B pillar. It was the B pillar. Like I said, the B pillar. The B pillar. Beep. The B pillar. You have a sunroof. The sunroof has a bunch of tracks, and the sunroof is literally just a piece of glass that's been shoved into a hole. You've got a gap there. It doesn't necessarily seal. Sometimes they try to make it seal. But generally, it's better if you just accept the fact that it doesn't seal and you put drains on the tracks. The B pillar will have tubes in it that come from the sunroof. Also, sometimes the A pillar. Well behind everything, you know, behind all the interior stuff on the car, outside of the vapor barrier. But water will go down those tubes, but water is not necessarily completely clean. If you're parking in the suburbs, if you're parking in a desert, who cares? Anyway, debris will get in and clog those drains, and if it does, they generally try not to completely ruin your interior, but if those drains go to the outside of the car, you get puddles in particular areas, and your car can kind of look like it's pissing a little bit. Generally, the car makers don't really care, but because BMW is a luxury brand, let's swish the wine glass, what they've decided to do is, instead of having an unsightly drain, they'll instead drain inside of the metal panels of their car. And so running down the sides of the car, because you've got a unibody car, you don't have like an I-beam that's floating your entire car on top of it, because we've got better technology than that, right? And so you've got these sort of like support pillars that are running on the sides of the car that are designed to interface with an emergency jack so that you can get the wheels off. And so those cavities, they have the tube going down to those cavities, and they just have drain holes on the bottom of the cavity. And so in using the jack for the car, I displaced the underbody coating. Rust started in that area. This happened on my previous car. Rust started in that area, and because of those drain holes and because the wheels are kicking up moisture in that area, moisture and road debris, they end up rusting out. When there's an opening, it's a pocket. The pocket accepts all kinds of debris inside of it, and then it becomes this sort of half-cell battery that just eats away at your car. And then they didn't address any of these rust issues. I took my car to a dealership like right before the rust like guarantee expired, and I said, "You have a rust guarantee. What's the deal?" And they looked at it and they said, "I don't know. We don't do this," and they didn't cover it at all. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not about to just jump into court to get them to actually like honor their agreement, but it sucks. So anyway, the car that I bought from a friend of mine is now an outside car, and as such, it's been exposed to that stuff. The stuff that my friend did to try to prevent that rust from happening didn't quite do, and so I've got to do something about it at some point. It's going to be expensive, and I don't know if I want to necessarily, if I could get another car, but I love the era of my car. The computerization is at just the right spot where it's not phoning home and doing all kinds of weird shady. I don't know. I don't see ads for Spider-Man 2 when I start my car. Wait, it's Spider-Man. Which one are we on? No Home from Home Alone 3, I guess. I don't know what it is, what the title is, but yeah, car repair stream. I'd love to do that. I gave up my welder. The enclosed bottles of inert gas were apparently against regulations in the neighborhood, so I needed to get rid of them. And then the welder just took up space, and so I just gave it to my buddy who does the free cycle stuff. So I no longer have my welder. I would love to get a big piece of sheet metal and I don't know, get the phone streaming, and then I could put a little riser in my pocket and you guys could just ride along, and we could do a welding stream. I'm not great at welding though, I'll have you know. For the steering wheel project, back when I did have the welder, I tried to weld that little adapter for the steering wheel splines to the motor, and I welded it and it looked perfectly fine and welded, and I linched back the welds a little bit to make them look nice, and then the whole thing fell apart because it didn't actually weld. I just put metal down on it. They were probably not similar enough metals. All of these ads for like the laser, all these project channels that are silent these days, they all got that laser welder. Am I cool enough? Am I cool enough? Or maybe I can phone up UO and be like, "Hey man, I need a laser welder. Can you do like, just talk to somebody and get a sponsor?" and then give it to me. Just give it to me. Just give me the stuff. He won't do that. But I want to try out one of those laser welders. They should send me one. There's not that much flammable stuff around here, right? We got 4 minutes until a 3-minute ad. There's not that much flammable stuff, right? God, it looks like I'm gonna get beamed. Why is that stuff so bright in the foreground there? It's the face light, isn't it? Anyway, we'll get to building modules and chewing the fat in just a minute here. I'm gonna let this ad run, and then we'll go, actually work on this stuff. I am live on YouTube. Yeah, pulled up the chat. Okay, yeah, so YouTube is working. Spider-Man 9000. I can't keep track. Sorry about that. That was a dead scene. I have these dead scenes that are there just as markers so that I know what category of scenes I'm clicking into. They don't work, but I have them anyway. It's just trying to split up the stuff that I click on over here to switch scenes. And this is just a separator. So these are the camera onlys. Then these are the multis. These are like special. And then these are my frames and my framed things that come up in some of the scenes, like the blood glucose level thing and stuff like that is its own scene. And then I have frameless things for like all of my overlays and stuff. So like if I pull up the frame BG, that's another scene that's nested into this one. That. Oh, why was that missing? Wait, that should be up. What else did I turn off that I didn't turn back on? We got thermals on. Oh, I see. You guys are okay, yeah, that's right. You guys have no frames. Is that? Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Okay. That way it's a little less obtrusive when you guys come up temporarily and then disappear. Although in some of the scenes I do have it permanently, like that one. I guess that's fine. We will get to soldering in a minute. This has been an extremely frustrating build, this one right here. And I'll get into it in a minute. The other ones have gone okay. All right, 2 minutes until an ad for those of you that are not subscribed or just enjoy watching ads. I'm also broadcasting on YouTube, and they're not coordinating their ad times with mine. So I'm not totally unmonetized on YouTube. I'm not cool enough for that. We have like 1 or 2 viewers a stream over there. I don't know why it never gets traction at all. I guess everybody's doing shorts on YouTube. So, but that's mostly for an archival purpose. And I don't know, I may stop doing that. I may stop archiving altogether and just be in the now, be in the moment for these streams, and then people can catch up some other way. There'll still be VODs though that people can watch. So I don't know. I mean, I got a decent number of YouTube viewers, and I got a couple people in here, but unless I totally re-optimize the channel and change names and do something else and move to a different state secretly and go into witness protection and then start my stream again, I don't know what I can do to get more viewers. What's up, Gonad? How you doing? We've got 1 minute until an ad, and I need to see if my overlay comes up, because the power went out several times yesterday, and that messes up the whole setup. Apparently, though, all of my lights and stuff work just fine. All the Tasmota stuff is working just fine, so that may mean that the little injection of a command that I put in there worked. I'm not totally sure about that, but I don't know. When the router goes down and back up, bad things can happen, and I think I've built most of my setup to be good about that now. Because my file server never went down, although that should have turned itself off. That's not good. As soon as I had electrical issues, the file server should have turned itself off and not automatically back on. And I don't think it'll abort turning itself off if the weather gets better. Did I plug the USB in the back in? I might not have. Or FreeNAS. It's not FreeNAS anymore. Whatever it's called now may not recognize that power supply anymore. I think I saw a thread about that. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ad break! Any second now, it's going to pop up. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Go, 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 go. Move, 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 move. It says ads starting soon, and then it doesn't, like, start for a minute. There it goes. Ah, okay. It's fixed. It works now. Good, good, good. Cool. We're back. We're back. We're back. That means that all my doohickeys are working, so. The ad, in fact, broke. Yeah. Oh, yeah, chat's, like, right on top of it. Ah, it's fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to look into adding a timer to that. There's a couple different ways you can do timers in OBS, and I think there's a way I can do it without installing another plugin. I don't want another plugin. Too many plugins. But then if I can get that running, that means that I have just a nice indicator for when I zoom into the little tiny window. And then the reason that's so big and obnoxious is so that people can see it in the tiny window and know that I'm not. Yeah. Need a counter that counts in the wrong order. But I use the counter too. Maybe I could do the predator counter. This is a risky search. Predator counter. Not at all what I was looking for, Google. Thanks. Apparently, the Predator movie is no longer important enough to come up as the first thing on Google searches. This is what I'm talking about, though. You know, you'd think there'd be some like web applet that has the Predator countdown. Here's a 4K one, but I don't know if that's 1 minute Predator wrist gauntlet countdown timer. Wait, but having a big number below it is not, that's not good. No. This is bad. You're not supposed to know what it is. What is this? What? Adobe, stock Adobe. I can download it from Adobe. Oh no, how much does that cost? And it looks like crap. $129.99 a month to sign up for whatever the stock Adobe stock thing is. Whew. Well, that's too bad. Used to be if somebody would start a whole website that would have the countdown on it. Your tees, indie. Get it on it, put it on a t-shirt. Okay. 100 a month to buy AI generated shit. Yeah, that's isn't that fun? All right, I just heard a click. That means our ad is stopped and I can start the stream. So let's get this out of here. Let's kill the music that only the Twitch viewers get ads, but they also can hear the music that I'm listening to, so it doesn't seem like I'm singing along to weird things going on. I once watched a Moon stream, and Moon at least used to typically have like copyrighted music in the background because they rehost their videos on a site where they can re-overlay that music. But I was listening to the VOD. I think I did it to like kill ads. I was watching like a minute later than the actual broadcast on a VOD so that there weren't mid-roll ads. And it every now and then Moon would just like out of tune, like la 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 la. I'm like, this guy like, does he have like a brain worm more than usual? Like, what's going on? Turns out he was just singing along to the song, but he was singing along like somebody was listening to a radio, as like in the car. You know, when you bleed out, sing along with the music. Oh God, I hear a yappy dog out there barking at the corgis. So right now, just like in the back of my head, I hear roar, 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 and yap, 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 yap. I've ordered Domino's. All right, pizza sounds good, man. The music has been nice. Yeah, I try to do like wallpapery music for the stream. Starts soon. Where's my chat? I had. There it is. Okay, pulling that back up. This stuff, I like minimized a bunch of the windows when I was working here yesterday. I had kind of a weird day yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of power outages yesterday and the day before. And so didn't stream. That kills numbers, but you know, I didn't want to have a bad show. But what I did do, aside from that, was I worked on soldering a whole bunch of these eurorack filter modules, and we've been working on eurorack stuff a lot on the show lately, and I do want something to come of it. Basically, I've got some really cool filters that I'm building, but I don't have all the parts for everything. We have a couple things that we need to do. I need to finish up soldering some of the parts for this delay. This delay, from most of the stuff is from nonlinear circuits. There's two that aren't, and the stuff from nonlinear is really cool. The stuff that aren't are really cool too. This is a pretty standard type of circuit that you would see in eurorack. It uses a particular audio chip that a lot of these eurorack aficionados like, that produces sort of an echo and delay. So I've been looking through all of my parts, figuring out what specialty parts these eurorack module builders like to use, because you end up with some weird parts in your parts paddock, and you go, it would be cool if I used that part in this design. And you do that, and then you get to me, who's not you. I don't stock those parts. And so now I need to stock that part or find something that works, and things get a little weird. Well, it turns out Nonlinear used a part that was pretty common among eurorack module builders, and we happen to have it in a bin, which is unheard of. I bought like a generic audio integrated circuit like thing. It's kind of, you know, going on Amazon and finding these little weird groupings of parts is kind of a really neat thing. And so this one has a whole bunch of speaker drivers, mostly. But then it happened to have, where is it? The PT2399, which is an echo producer. It produces an audio echo. So this one puts a PT399 or whatever into itself. So I want to get this one built. We built a Vactrol for it last time. We're going to get these big through-hole things soldered. I'll get the socket installed, and then we'll see what other little parts we need. I think there's like one particular value. That's not on this one. I think it's on the other one. There's like one particular value of capacitor that I didn't have, and so I ordered a whole bunch of parts off of Amazon. But yeah, let's actually, let's do that before we get to this one, because this one requires a whole different explanation. Let's get to the one that we mostly got built. This one is a Thomas Henry, who also, I believe did the circuit for my amplifier for this microphone. Need to get some Bucket Brigade delay lines. Those were fun back in the day. They have a huge row of caps that tip into each other like an order of buckets. So they're using the phase delay properties of a capacitor. This one is actually the fascinating one that I really look forward to building, because what this has is two flip-flops. So much like the Bucket Brigade, this one is flip-flopping 4 bits. So it's taking your audio, crushes it down to 4 bits, and then it'll flip-flop it over to the output. So that's going to be a really neat one. It's a digital filter simulator, because it's, I guess, technically not digital, although it is kind of digital, but it's flip-flops. So it's, yeah, this is a really cool one. Eventually when I get it made. I can't wait to hear what that one sounds like. All right, so we're going to do the through-hole stuff first. Why is that all dotted line? Oh, probably just because it's selected. Yeah, that's why. Okay. Yeah, this one with all the through-hole stuff. I think, how am I doing through-hole these days? I think I got to bend the legs of the cap. I don't like doing that, so I think what I'm going to instead do is just put my hand on it. I'll just risk burning myself and anchor these down with my hand. So we'll just do this like this. Once you guys get a little closer in so you're not in my face. Get out of my face! Bucket Brigade sounds cool. The giant slab of metal echo, not echo, but what, like reverb. There's a method for making reverb where you put it into, you get like a, I don't know, it's like a, not a piezo, but you get like a magnet thing that puts it into the metal, and then you have a guitar pickup pick it up out of the metal, I guess. And so big setups, like big stadiums and stuff, for like rock concerts will have a huge plate. Yeah, sheet reverb or plate reverb. They'll have like an enormous metal plate that they use for reverb. It's crazy. Yeah, there are a couple Eurorack modules that do spring reverb, but you need a big spring. You need a big spring, and so you can buy like specific springs for spring reverb. What's up, you on site? How's everybody doing today? Not doing big numbers, but I do see a lot of new names. Nice. Okay, so I'm doing the handhold method for these. I'm literally just pressing on these, and as I can, add just enough solder to kind of anchor down the component. This is a great way to burn yourself, but we're doing electronics. We need to be made of asbestos. I'm having a lot of trouble getting heat into these. I think I need to switch tips. I think this tip is probably not ideal for this. I kind of can't get in there with it. I've had a lot of trouble with this tip. This one's supposed to be really good for surface mount stuff, but it's caused me a lot of grief just because of the rounded tip not being sort of active in the right spots. A garage door spring? No, it needs to be the size of like, do you remember that like kid's toy that was like a spring with like a cone on either end? It's like this big. It's that big, which doesn't really work with eurorack. Eurorack things are supposed to be tiny. I'm wondering if I can do like a frequency shift on audio coming in to make it high pitched, make it like a high frequency, like above audible level, like ultrasound or something, and then put it into something and then bring it back out and shift the frequency down. Is that a viable thing? I don't know if that's a viable thing. I don't know if that's viable. It would be kind of cool though. Have you ever tried that? No. No, I have not. No, I have not. Another filter module that I want to build is one of those FPGA audio things where you have 4 variables and your 4 variables can shift the audio significantly depending on, it's like this weird feedback thing that it does with sort of the data in the FPGA. So I think that would be kind of cool. I think what's stopping me, it's time, dude. I just haven't done it. You ever come up with an idea and then like 2 seconds later somebody goes, what's stopping you from doing this, man? It's like when I'm talking to some of my friends and I suggest like, man, I really need to like get a warehouse, and they're like, what's stopping you? Just manifest it, man. It's like, just do it. You just do it. It's like, what are you talking about? I got bills. Like things aren't free. Time and money. So this is kind of difficult to do. I kind of need 3 hands. Well, why don't you have 3 hands? But what I'm trying to do is get heat onto a pad and then use my ring and pinky finger to move the solder onto that pad. And the distances need to be a particular way for me to pose the solder strand. But once I get that one pad soldered, it'll lock the component in place, and then we can see if everybody's in a good spot and then get them all soldered in. The spare hand on the bench. I'm not struggling. I don't need the spare hand. You know, it's all the same if I hang it up in the air. I need that extra control from my fingers, and hoisting the circuit board at this weird angle, you know, it's fine. And then I have the control over everything. Because I can just pose this in the air. It's just hard to aim for. Manifest the 3rd hand. Just make it a reality. I have 4 hands. Yeah, that was the worst thing, was talking to the hippy-dippy friends of mine about not having a job. And they're like, well, you just, whatever you want to do, you just kind of put that out into the world, and then it'll happen. I'm like, well, that's a survivorship bias, first off. Are we still, yeah, this is still on, still soldering. There we go, I got it. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm concerned about whether or not these will plug into the flat cable, seeing as the flat cable is so close to a bunch of other stuff. I'm guessing they all have yachts. Well, considering the survivorship bias of going to festivals, you have to have a little bit of money to go to festivals, so that's probably the selector there. And they all either had money or good jobs so that they could leisure in such a way. So yeah, it might have been just as easy for them as just going, it would be cool if I had a job. And then other rich people are like, yeah, we can get you a job. That's easy. All right. Those are all in. Let's get them all soldered. Little through-hole soldering ASMR. Visual ASMR. Hold on, maybe I can move this. Ask them why they haven't manifested a yacht. That's a low-level insult, man. It's like a gut punch. I can't believe you said something like that to me. I've been searching for yachts. I just can't find one, okay? I can't believe you'd say such a thing to me. All right. Yeah, through-hole soldering, not my favorite thing in the world to do. I'm not a fan. I do not enjoy through-hole. I like my surface mount stuff. I think it's much easier, cleaner, more efficient. But sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do, like through-hole soldering. What everybody got going on in their neck of the woods? What is that? That looked like there was no flux at all. Weird. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Go homeless. Go homeless while pursuing a failing soldering stream. Whatever. I was never under any pretense. These will be cool when we're done with them. There's some pretty neat filters going on here. And I don't know if on the O-scope, if we can hit this with a frequency and see it delay instead of having to listen to it. There's one thing I can't stand. It's the types of audio you get from working on audio electronics. That I just can't, I cannot tolerate. It's a me problem, I know. But when I have to sit there and listen to a 1 kilohertz tone or beeps, it just drives me nuts. It drives me off the wall. See, that looked like it wasn't wrapped around the chip, but I guess it was. It was just well soldered. Huh. Yeah, so as I'm doing this, you kind of always keep an ear to the ground for cold solder joints. Cold solder joints are when you have solder on one or both of the pads, but it's not connected, and it's hard to tell visually. You usually look for little gaps and breaks in the solder. I know, if I was like Mendit Mark, that's his name, right? Mendit Mark? Mendit Steve? Mendit Rob? No, that's Road Guy Rob. Mendit Methuselah? Anyway, if I were him, and I'm not, I wish I was, he gets to exist above ground. His shop is like, there's trees visible from his window, which is something that I'm insanely jealous of. I've been underground for decades because the only available room for something like this is in the basement. It sucks. Anyway, maybe one day I'll be super Terranian. Maybe Terranian. Maybe I'll be Terranian one day. Ooh, that got heat all the way through. If I am, yeah. Anyway, Mendit Mark. If I was hearing those noises, all those 1 kilohertz beeps and stuff, it would sound like money, which I guess I could tolerate. On a scale of 1 to Louis Rossmann, I am wondering why your scale stops at Louis Rossmann, because that's where I am. On a scale of 1 to oh bother, where would you put Louis Rossmann? I am better at soldering than Louis Rossmann. Welcome to my underground lair. While I have been able to say that for many, many years, I don't enjoy it anymore. I don't enjoy it as much as I like to be able to look outside and see a tree. I have one of my quote-unquote roommates is just outside the window, and it's very unnerving. Louis Rossmann is good at talking really fast. Who do you think had to work on not talking really fast so that I would be more palatable to an internet audience? The thing Louis Rossmann has that I can never touch is a long list of clients. And I guess Apple people appreciate repairing their expensive hardware because it is overly expensive Apple hardware. But if I had those repair jobs, I could definitely do them. I can go down much smaller in soldering size than this. You need to kind of position yourself a little better. This is 0603, and these are sitting on 0805 tabs, but 0406, I can go down to a little smaller than that. It's difficult. The mutable instruments modules, had me soldering smaller than that. This one is a little bit earlier in the cycle, so this mutables that I just picked up, this non-working clouds, we got to take a look at what's wrong with this one. I think it's the wrong DAC in this one, but I can't show any of the stuff because Emily put all of the components on the inside here because Emily is familiar with musicians. And what musicians do is they grab things and they rake them across all of these modules. So if you're like nonlinear circuits and you put it so that all of the components face outward of the module like this, your average musician is going to take, you know, whatever they can find and just start smacking it against the module and go, why did it break? And then they bring it over to me and I have to take a look at it and go, how did you break it like that? That's very unique. So all of the components on the Emily Gillette modules, they're gone. This would have been a good example of the kind of soldering that I can do at that scale. But I've done all kinds of like repair and stuff like that on some pretty complicated modules. And I'm well versed in all of the techniques. So yeah, Rossmann has nothing on me, not the other way around. I refuse to be on a Rossmannized scale. He has 3 taps in the kitchen, hot, cold, and flux. That's one thing I don't agree with Rossmann, but the type of stuff that he does warrant that it's excessive use of flux. It's not really excessive. It's, I guess, necessary for that kind of work. But I don't do that kind of work, and I don't like to have all of those fumes everywhere, and flux gets sticky, and things kind of tack onto it. We don't need to use that much flux. The internet has sort of gotten drunk off of how clean flux can look. I'm sitting there with my hands on the flux levers. Go, do not become addicted. It's not necessary to have that many horrible chemicals around, and to sort of rely on a ultrasonic bath in that manner. People think you need a lot of flux because these guys use a lot of flux because it looks good on camera, and we do not do that here. I don't have a front panel printed for this. We're going to need to build that. I need work on building 3 boards for wirelessly controlled servos. What, like, well, I should ask, what type of servo? Are we talking like industrial servo with like a mean encoder that requires very fast feedback? Yeah, I do have an ultrasonic cleaner, but I just don't use it for electronics as much. What the heck happened? Look at my resistor. Look at it go. This is what happens when you've got a completely flat-on view of your board and you're soldering with surface mount techniques. We can fix that. That's an easy fix. This is larger surface mount stuff, and this is what I work in to be comfortable. But 0603 size is actually really nice in terms of its smallitude, the smallingfulness of it. Because like if you work too small, you get something like this where the traces are like absolutely microscopic and it's just not all that fun to work with, right? This is me trying Osh Park. Worked out okay, but my Osh Park can do much smaller trace sizes. What's that? That almost looks like an error. There's like a whole dot. Ah, I didn't notice that. That was almost a short. Neat. Okay. But like 0603 is kind of where I draw the line on my hobby projects. This is the mixer that I was building for Julian, and 0603 you can get pretty high density with. That's a chef's hat. We have a module coming in the mail, the powered mult, that will feature this size of part. I want to replace my VRAM modules on my NVIDIA GPU. What would be your best advice? You're looking to go from amateur to VRAM module, and that's a big jump in skill. Maybe buy a 6-pack for somebody you know that really knows these soldering techniques, or get like an internship job with like technicians, or I don't know, because I don't really know how to get from where, you know, beginner skill level to NVIDIA VRAM. That's a big leap, and you can do that. I mean, I've I did that at some point, but I don't really know the ways to go about it. It's hard because, you know, I've been doing this for so long. Everything's different now. And I don't mean to sound like an old codger when I say that. It's like I learned from like almost a magazine that Radio Shack had, and I took notes in the margins because we didn't have phones on our belts because that was the style at the time. No, we didn't have like phones and computers and YouTube. YouTube has this huge, you know, makering, all this kind of stuff is like exploded in popularity, and there's some amazing stuff going on. Yeah, like maybe find like an old card. I don't know if you're, you know, don't necessarily have old hardware, and certainly the computer hardware landscape, it's not all that fun right now. Not really fun. You maybe wait until the AI bubble bursts, and then you'll have 5090s coming out of your pockets. You'll have like enterprise workstation level hardware that you can get for $1 and modify. Find a sacrificial thing to modify. Maybe you can bolster your skill that way. I mean, that's kind of what I would do as a kid. I want this to be a little bit more even just for sightliness. Just want it to look nice. And so I'm sort of using the surface tension on either side of the chip to kind of wrangle it into its spot with the big soldering iron. With the big iron on my tip. Big iron on my tip. All right, do we have any more tombstones here? No, we're looking pretty good. No more tombstones? Okay. I've made some changes to some of the caps in here because I didn't have the right ones. And I actually might have the right ones for some of these boards. So I should have probably taken notes for where I kind of changed it up a little bit. I hear what you mean. I hope it makes sense because it's hard when you've known this stuff for a long time to give advice. And it's like one of the #1 questions around here is, you know, people genuinely going, I love this stuff. You're really doing cool things. Where do I start? And I go, I make the little cow noise. It's not easy. The cheapest way to do VRAM is with one of those tiny precision hot plates and a hot air station. I'm reluctant to tell people that these are the things. It's like, yeah, here are the tools you would need, but there's a lot behind that. There's a lot of like knowledge and skill and caution, and yeah, I remember those. Yeah, they still exist. Our rip. So if this electronics thing doesn't work out, I guess I can move to LA, maybe get a job as a sound effects guy. That guy from Police Academy isn't around anymore, right? Did they fill his position in Hollywood? Maybe I could do that. Here. Rip. Yeah, what we're talking about when we're talking about VRAM chips is there are a couple different techniques to get things from your hardware to like a design, like a circuit board. So you have a company that builds the actual silicon. You have a company, probably the same one, that packages the silicon in some kind of an epoxy dye that sort of resists solder and doesn't conduct. But then you have all of these contacts that need to make their way outside of your minimally packaged chip, and one of the ways of doing that is called the ball grid array. And the ball grid array, the BGA, is a bunch of little balls of solder. These balls of solder are connected to pads that are on the actual epoxy chip body. So the chip body will have labels on top. It'll be square typically because that's just easy to design for. And then you'll have a grid of balls underneath it. And if you're staring at its balls, you will see that there's almost no room to get anything out. Michael Winslow is still alive. Oh, that's good to hear. I haven't heard anything from Michael Winslow. That's why I'm sure he's like in the background making plenty of money. As a kid, I used to love Michael Winslow. I thought that was peak comedy. So anyway, ball grid array. You have a bunch of pads that are on the underside of the chip, and they leave a ball of solder on all these pads so that you can have your own your pad array. You have an array of pads on your circuit board that then solder to each other. The problem with the ball grid array is I have to test pin 75. Pin 75 is in the middle of the chip. Can't get any tools in there because it's all too small. There are vias. They usually have vias on it, so you can sometimes get to the back end of it and test it around and actually get some semblance of a check on the thing. Sometimes they use x-rays in order to check whether or not the ball grid array is properly soldered. You kind of just wing it and go, I think I did the right thing, and then you run it, and if it blows up, if it fails any of its electronic tests, then you can try again. And in order to try again with a ball grid array, you need to reball your ball grid array. So you need to get rid of all the solder. You desolder it with hot air because you can't get an iron in there. So you get rid of that. You put it into a jig. You clear all the solder off of everyone. Make sure everybody's nice and clean. And if you're lucky, you didn't pull up any of those really fragile pads as you were probing around with either desoldering braid or a solder sucker of some kind. You got to be real careful with the amount of heat that you put into it. All of this is also extremely small. This is very small stuff. You then put a non-conductive, usually FR4, which is just circuit board material. Basically what looks like a little grating, but there's a hole for every one of those pads. You put that down on top, and then you solder it all, and you hope to great googly moogly that you actually get a solder ball on there, because when you put that back on the board, you need to make sure everything solders at once. This is where hot air comes in handy. We got a raid! We got a raid from Code Rush. How's it going, Code Rush? I was explaining ball grid arrays because we have some people asking about whether or not, not whether or not, they were asking how they would learn to solder VRAM and replace VRAM. It's very difficult to do. You can do it. You can get those skills. I don't know much about that because I know how to do it. I don't know how I know how to do it. What's that? My kid's got that number mem stuck in my head. I can't wait to stop so I can remove it. Remove your head? Number mem? Number mem? What? I don't know if I want to know. Good afternoon. Got a sugar alarm after getting out of the shower. Might have a little bit of cereal. It's kind of my go-to lately. Well, thank you for the blog. Oh, the number meme. Which one is, did I just say? Oh, 6, 7. Did I say 6, 7? I said rating with a party of 6 or 7. What? Michael Winslow is 6, 7. Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't listen. Being oblivious sometimes protects you from these sorts of things. Like an immuno response to stupidity is that all of that stuff just now, all the number meme, the 6, 7 stuff, just straight over my head because I am completely oblivious. You should try it sometime. Yeah, the number meme is weird. Julian's strategy for that, my buddy Julian's strategy for that, is to lay into it as hard as he can. He just goes nuts. He's laughing. He's having the time of his life. 6, 7. Oh, it's amazing. And his students are mortified and they never bring it up again. There's another way to there was another way to reball. Anakin, there's another way to reball. Use a stencil and a card to flux the pads, and then you put pre-sized balls onto the stencil and they stick to the flux. Ah, maybe I've seen that. I thought you were supposed to solder through in order to create the balls, but fluxing on balls, I guess, is another way to do it. Interesting. It is all a massive pain in the butt, and even the best of them get it wrong. Reball. Yeah, well, where experience is king, old busted stuff is very helpful to practice on. You can build up that experience pretty quick. See, we do still need to make a Vactrol, but I don't know if we'll attempt that today. This thing is getting very close to completion, and I think we can probably do a good test of it. I need a bunch of 100K pots. Is any other component missing on this? It looks like I got most of the stuff correct. This is a pretty easy build. This is a nice, easy one. It's magical that I had the parts, the actual delay chip Yeah, you do need a good microscope and a lot of, this stuff it requires a lot of equipment. You're not necessarily going to do it on the kitchen table. I remember one of my college professors was shocked when I was like, I need a microscope in order to solder this. So what do you mean? You don't need to, you maybe could get one from the materials guys. The materials guys lent me a two-eye microscope. I was like, this is not adequate. I need more equipment than this to be able to do this stuff. And they thought it was shocking that I would need all that. And it's like, no, this is standard practice, standard stuff. So, what else does we need from this? Knobs and jacks, and we need a front panel. Moreover, we don't have a front panel for that. For this one, we have a front panel, but we need to build a Vactrol. So I guess right now I'm going to start up Fusion, and we're going to build a front panel, and we're going to get that to the 3D printer. Yeah, you need to inspect that the balls are there. And then I guess the flux is just going to hold on to it. I try to make it not cool by using the kids' memes, but it's not working on mine. I need someone less cool than me to do it. That's where I come in. No, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to. You're beyond it. Yeah, nowadays, but back in the day when I was doing this stuff wasn't so readily available. It's very nice that this stuff is so easy to get. I mean, you can get inspection microscopes super cheap. It used to be one of these like industrial and scientific parts, an inspection microscope. You weren't able to get one, so you would have to get one from science and industrial, and so the price like markup was 5,000% on the hardware. You would have to spend a couple $1,000s to get a good microscope to do that kind of stuff. All right, we need a new front panel. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Go away. What are you pulling up? Oh no, I just need to click on Untitled. There we go. Jeez. Where do I want to view your newsletter? Okay, mod synth projects, and then I've got panel templates. Actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to take our latest one, which is the powered mult. Do we want powered mult or no? We don't want powered mult. I want the what this one is. Nonlinear circuits, low pass gate. This one. NLCV, VCF, LPG. So this is for the VCF and the LPG. And I'm actually going to add to this one. Let me edit the folder name. Well, let's just copy one of these. So it doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to copy this one. And we'll put it here. Rename it. And this one is going to be, I guess it's not, I don't know if it's 10U, it might be 8U, but this one is exactly the same size circuit board as the one that we're copying. So this one is the, what the hell did this thing do again? Nonlinear circuits, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is the PT something or other delay, right? Oh, we still need to find a voltage regulator for this. Hold on one sec. I will get to you eventually, chat. Wet, dry. No, that's not what I'm looking for. You didn't put the title on this one. All right, PT2399. We'll call it that. Thank dog for digital microscopes that don't need RAM. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I managed to use webcams. Have you done PC power supplies? I did the PC power supply very nearly in 2011, 2012, got to the front page for Reddit for building an actual 12-volt power supply out of modules from a company called Vicor. And I was able to make an 11 by 1 inch by 2 inch, like, brick supply that was able to power a full graphics card and a full computer. I think it was something like 52 amps at 12 volts to power a full gaming computer in a very compact presentation. It was kind of fun. And one time it kind of broke, and it got to be like super burn you hot at a LAN party. Okay, 2399 delay. But yeah, the reason I was able to make that work is they had modules that were higher wattage. They were like 140 watts that could power a car PC. And so the graphics card and the motherboard taking, I mean, the graphics card really does take the lion's share of the current, and it requires 12 volts clean. And so the motherboard on one of the car converters could take up to 14 volts dirty. And so I gave them both 12 volts of extremely clean power through the Vicor modules, and that was able to power up the entire PC. Because a lot of the voltages we have, a lot of the alternative voltages we have on the PC are kind of obsolete. You need a lot of 3 volts, you need a lot of 5 volts, but negative 12 is there for the same reason we had negative 12 on eurorack stuff. And there's all kinds of other weird voltages that are on the motherboard connector that just are not used. Most hardware is just taking the 12 volts and converting it itself into 5 or 3 volts. So that was the idea behind it. All right, so let's get into the sketch that generated this thing in the first place. So there's the sketch of the outside body, and since our circuit board is the same size because these are nonlinear, nonlinear likes a little bit of uniformity in the design, sort of. This they're kind of getting from surface mount to through hole. It looks like it's been a struggle. But yeah, so we've got nonlinear, we've got through hole, but we also have a lot of surface mount. It's the same size circuit board, so we're going to start from there. This is a centered second sketch on that panel. So we go for the center out in order to get the locations of all of our stuff on the circuit board. That's the wrong sketch. Sketch number 2. When I double click on the sketch, it's going to rewind time to where we generated that sketch. So all of the solids go away. What'd I miss? I think I got everything. Fascinating stuff about reballing. So on the circuit board, we can go from X and Y in order to get the locations of our holes, as long as we are center here, and then our stuff is all going to work out, right? All our hole positions. Now there's servers that have giant Anderson connectors, like a forklift on the back to take 12 volt direct from the rack. You wonder when they're going to go to 300 volts like they do in ships. So, all right, we've got the same setup where we've got 3 outputs at the bottom. Those 3 outputs, I think, are located on the X's. So, knowing mutable, or sorry, not mutable, knowing nonlinear's method of design, I have a feeling these are going to be in just about the same spots. So we can go from board edge to the center of our little X there, which presumably is where the connector is for the thonk connector, which is 8 millimeters, which lines up to what we had, although we have 8.5. So I think these are turned around the other way. Let's check what we've got. These are in the same direction, but it looks like these are a 0.5 millimeter above. Yeah, they're a little bit above. That looks a little more than a 0.5 millimeter, but I don't like these giant gaping component holes. These allow for a little bit of wiggle room, and they allow you to use the really shitty connectors, but I don't like these. And then instead of these ferrite beads, I'm going to put protection diodes in. I could also put ferrite beads in there, but these are spaced just right so that I can put protection diodes on these 2 locations. So we'll do protection diodes. I got to do the regulator. And then we got to do the power plug. And then I think we can do everything else. We got an LED in the middle. Excuse me. So instead of 8.5, these are 8, but I still have the same number. So we don't have to do much there, 8 millimeter. So now those will be in the right spot as per the circuit board. And then I've got the holes in there that are just right. Everybody's looking good. This is no longer going to be, well, this can be our LED hole. How's your LED hole, everybody? I know that's a personal question. So 3.2. And then for our 3 millimeter LED, I used an XT connector on my design for the 12 volt plug. which was really cool at the time. It was the style at the time. 34.2. Let's get a slightly more accurate. I would assume if you've got a giant Anderson connector like that, you can pull the whole rack and then power it elsewhere to test. That'd be kind of neat. A neat feature of that. Just trying to measure this exactly. Try to get that flat against there with a little bit of an angle so that I can actually get the measurement thing out there. And then, what? Now it's an even less sensical number. So 34 or 35 would work just fine because this LED is going to be able to flex to where it needs to go. It needs to move like 10 millimeters vertically. So 34 or 35 or 34 and a half. And then we need a grid of knobs. There's a lot to control in this thing. We have one CV input, but we have a million knobs. Non-linear. You're killing me with this stuff, man. We need to have a talk. Like, give me control of this stuff. I should be able to control that stuff with CV. That might be a kind of a problem with this module, is that you can only have one CV. So it just controls what it controls. Maybe it'll sound really cool and I'll forgive it. Maybe it'll just sound really cool and I'll forgive all of its issues. That looks like a 26, but let's just make sure. I'm going to locate the first one and then we'll locate the grid from that. It doesn't help if I'm measuring diagonally. Ah! We got 2 minutes until an ad break. Everybody say your last. Make sure you go out with no regrets in your heart. Oh. 2 minutes. 2 minutes for a 3-minute ad. A question regarding the capacitors. If the jacks mount directly to the board, will the caps be too tall to fit the panel? Yes. But there's a special trick, and it's called hitting your capacitors with a big hammer. Now, the connectors go on the other side of the board. Nonlinear puts the connectors out into the breeze. Or sorry, it puts the... Oh, wait, our ad's starting. Oh, wait, it starts in 2 minutes. Okay, so we got a little bit of time. Sorry, that was laborious. 25.75. Is that going to be a 26? I don't like having the capacitors like this on this board because all of my, it's not really a 26, it's a 25 and a half. That has to be 25 and a half, doesn't it? So, Funk, what happens is all the knobs are going to go on this side, even though Mutable Instruments designs would have you believe that it would be nice and smooth like our brains. Instead, we put all the connectors out here. This one is still going to be on this side, but all the thonks and all the knobs go out here. Yeah, and then you have something that looks like this, where it's all back here instead of being here. This is another nonlinear circuits. I got a lot of nonlinear circuits boards. Philosophically, they agree with what I do. I really like them quite a bit, actually. I don't think... Yeah, the full shroud is not going to fit with that capacitor. I disagree. I think some of these 10Us could probably be replaced with smaller ones. That, or I could put in the surface mount equivalent, and like these are much more compact. But I don't know. The 10Us are really annoying. I don't know if I could put in a 10U ceramic and have the same effect. But yeah, this is like a highly professional design, so it puts everything under here so that your average musician doesn't slam it against the table until it breaks. Well, they can, but it won't break as much. I've done all kinds of tricksy stuff with placing components literally under knobs. Like, this is a potentiometer, but the potentiometer sticks up from the board a little bit. So I put a couple components under it because everything is so compact. Oh, magic string. Okay, that makes sense. What's up, Funk? Yes. I'm going to call you by whatever name I see, unless you continue to correct me. Got logged out of my other account. I'm too lazy to log back in. We had somebody who just like would lose accounts. Like, yeah, my other account just got banned. It's like, what? How do you live like that? Let's work on placing these pots, which is kind of boring during the ad. So the ad's going to start any minute now for a lot of you. Ad break is going to pop up on the top of the screen. That's 3 minutes, and then we'll be back. If you don't want to see ads, you can jump over to YouTube at OBotherVOD, and there won't be ads there. Or, you know, I don't know. I've skipped back on the VOD to kill ads before. Or get a Tamper Monkey script. That's what I did. Oh, there we go. Ad break going. The Tamper Monkey script, or whatever the script is, there's a GitHub page for it. It's annoying, but you know what? It gets rid of the ads, and you have to watch in low quality. I'm okay with that. Like, you know? All right, get rid of all the lines that we don't need. That sachet, the crosshatch, is what gives us our center. This is a center box. All these things are highlighting. We don't really need that body to actually be there. Oh, it still highlights though. Oh man, that's one annoying thing about Fusion, is it very feverishly searches for closed-in solids. And I guess I can turn that off over here. I'm gonna cough. Okay, I'm back. I want to get this started printing because it's going to take about 10 minutes to print. We have a couple things to do to the PCB, and before I solder the jacks in, I need to have the jack holes. Jackals? Did I just call you guys jackals? Drink verification can to continue viewing stream. I know, it's so annoying. I'll put this over here. Maybe that's a better place for it. I need to work a little bit to the left because we've got these 3 windows here where, you know, you can see what's going on. Okay, so that's our LED hole. We need more hole than this. So I'm going to do a point-to-point. I'm going to hit X to make that a dotted line so it doesn't count as a closed-in solid. And then we're going to locate this here. So 24.5, right? Double check that measurement again. Oh, 25.5 or 25. I think maybe just 25. Let's double check on the microscope because I always get this stuff wrong. Anime in progress. That's a pyramid scheme. What's a pyramid scheme? What? Who's a pyramid scheme? Twitch? $25.75, so I don't think I'm going to get away with 25 either. Ooh, so sensitive. So sensitive. Just tweak it a little bit. Just give it a little pinch. Just pinch it. Just give it a little pinch. Just kind of twist it. Okay, slap it a little bit. There we go. 25. The thing I showed you. What did I show you? I don't think I didn't show anything. Yeah, that's way too. So it's really kind of 26, isn't it? But if I go to 26, it's too far. So 25.75, maybe 25.5. Oh, I heard a click. Everybody's back for the ad. I'm just debating my measurements here. Why is it? Hey, why are you? Hey, will you? Hey, why are you? Come back. Wait, I want to click in the. What the? What does it do? Come on. No, you, what? Huh? Why isn't it letting me click in there? The cursor should be in. Okay, click over here. There we go. It's still avoiding me. All right, now how far from the edge? Don't push me. I guess I gotta switch scenes like this. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. You have to 1M. I'm gonna see if I have these. 10K to 50K. My Domino's has arrived. Now that's a pyramid scheme. Why isn't... Oh. I caught something. Jeez, get that out of the way. Why are my calipers not calipering? It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes you wonder. Why do I need calipers for this? Wait a second. Hold on. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay, let's get that. We don't need fancy digital calipers. All I need to do is just go up to that edge with this giant ruler that's colliding with everything. What's that distance? 5, 6, 7. That's like 7 millimeters. 9, 8, 7. Yeah, 7 millimeter. Not really many fractions going on there. So this is now 7. Oh, I need to click into the program again. Okay. And now distance between the two. If I had any foresight in my body, I would have checked this before I put components down. 22, well, 23-ish. If we go center to center. 23.75. Okay, all right, we'll do this now. These can kind of poke in to an area and get me closer to the actual measurement without the fisheye of my lens. That's 22.4. Hold on. This is like the most amateurish measurement hour. You can also take the picture from Modular Addict and put it directly into the CAD program to try to dead reckon. But we just iterate. These are usually pretty simple. 23. I'm getting 23. I'm going to take that. 23 and then I'm like, why am I holding my breath? It's like I'm trying to line up an incredible shot. I need to go to the range. I've been to the range in a long time. Buddy and I went recently. 18. So 20. Oh, what was it again? 23. 23. And 23 by 18. 23 by 18. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a knob hole. I don't know, how big is the knob hole? I think it was 6.2 like the other ones. So 6.2 non-construction. So I'm just going to click on it and hit X, and that'll make it like that. And then we are going to create a rectangular pattern out of this, and it's going to be, all the controls are opening up behind stuff that you guys can't see, so I got to bring them over here to where you guys can see them. So a rectangular array in this direction with let's see, vertical is distance would be -18. That is not -18. Oh, because we're not extent, we're spacing it. So the spacing is -18. -18, and it's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Quantity is 4. Actually, 2, and quantity here is 4. And then that's the wrong one. Why did -18 put our horizontal spacing out like it was? Because the distance of the 4, that should be -18. And 18 by 18 almost looks like it's the right thing. Is it spacing it from... Oh. We're already inboard. We're already 7 inboard. That should be fine. But this distance was 23. That would make it 26. That looks wait a minute, what about, whoa, I said something funny and I just got emotes, but then I don't remember what the funny thing was that I said. Well, okay, it did something. I mean, it did direction by direction. I did it by spacing. And then I've got -18 in both fields, but for some reason the horizontal spacing looks correct. But I measured it at 23, so that might still be wrong, but it does look even. So I'm gonna click OK on this. And then I just want to measure from here to the edge. So from this dot to the edge of the circuit board, I got 7.5. Which this is more like 7. These are going to get into weird numbers. Actually, it's 6.5 for both sides. So if that was 6.5 for both sides, my other measurements are off. So this would be, escape on everybody, 6.5. And then for this, I need to find the little array icon, which is right here where I started it. Double click on that little icon, and then my rectangular array window comes up again. So which one am I looking for? 2 at -18, 17. That's going to move it inboard quite a bit. 0.5. But that's not the measurement that I got. Wait a minute, hold on. -17.5. What's going on here? I don't know where it's measuring from. It's weird. That ain't 17.5. This is like 20. And yet somehow all the numbers are working out. Is it taking half of it? No, because it's like 12. 11.5, but still 11.5 into 23, and yet 22 from center to center on this. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? Where's that number coming from? Yeah, because that's like 6.5. Actually, 6.5 is not quite right. Oh my God, okay. I apologize to anybody who's good at doing this. Wonder how you got good at doing this, because this is crazy. So if I go from here, measure out, we get here, make sure we're kind of flat. It's 7. There's no arguing it, it's 7. Now on this side, it's also 7. That one seems a little bit more 7 than its buddy over here, but everybody's got wiggle room. That's 7. That's a big number that we don't need to worry about. But then this to this, hold on, my points are off. I need like a measurement chamber. Yeah, so 18 was my approximation of that. If I go from the little dot there, just a little bit wider than both, and we're at 18.2. So yeah, so 7 from the edge, 18 from each other, and an overall dimension of question mark. Well, 39.5 is the 32.5 is why all of this stuff is crazy. 7 and 18. What's my board dimension? Maybe this is a different, slightly off dimensioned board. 32.5. Oh, 36.3. Okay, so our board is slightly larger. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. 36. that should stay centered, and then all of my other measurements sort of are on their own. That's probably off. Okay, we're starting to boil it down. It's starting to make sense. So this is 7. And then this is 18. It was 23, right? Oops, wrong one. Oh, but wait, that makes sense. No, that doesn't. They're going outside of the circuit. This is dumb. Nope, dumb. 17.5, and then this one is 23. Okay, well, it's messed up in unique ways. Everybody fits. This distance from here to here, 6 millimeters. This one is 7. So if this were 7.5, or no, 6.5, 6.5, then this will also now be 6.5. Ha! The numbers are lining up in a way that CAD never really allows. 6.5 on both sides. Can I cook or can't I? Well, don't answer that because I probably can't. Well, actually, in real life I can cook. It's just when it comes to CAD, I don't know if what you guys just witnessed you would call cooking necessarily. Might not really count. All right, so distance to here. These are going to be a different distance now. Yeah, let's remeasure some of this stuff. And I should probably use arrays more often with these, because it makes it a little faster when you can just measure to the array. But the more nonlinear circuits that I do, the more I'm pre-tooled to do all of these operations. 6, 5.9 or 6. Definitely not 6.5 though. 5.5? Nah. I'm gonna go with 6 on that. 6 center and then Tyrannus. Yeah, 6 center 6. And then everything else is just in the wiggle room of the giant pads. So instead of that, I'm going to take... Wait, what's going on there? Oh, I see. I don't think our height is 34.5. I'll check that in a minute. So 30 would technically be that, but instead I'm going to redo the way I do it. Should I, though? Unbind that from a distance, or just make that, well, 30, that's in place. And this one should instead be center. Instead of on that, I'm just going to center it. Or I'll do an array, but then that sort of begs the stuff to come out in the same place. Yeah, we'll do another array. I could send it on the span, but what is that? What is you? No, we'll get rid of that. Let's unbind this for right now. And then we'll make a 6 by 6. 6 tab 6. Oh, is it not at 6? I thought it was at 6. Hold on, double check. 6 by 8. It's hard to see the stuff that's coming up. I know it's a little like jumpy. Their night mode is still kind of young. What the? Why did that jump all the way over there? Jeez. All right, and we'll make that an array, although I could make the array be the span of this whole thing, or 6 millimeters from that edge. Or I could do it this way and just do 6 by 8. I could do 6 millimeter on that one. Or no, wait, I could use constraints. Isn't that fun? Fun. So we make that into a construction line. That didn't work. I should probably do it with arrays because the next nonlinear is going to mess with me, but all I need to do is just click that over there and not give it any dimensions, and then I can do equals for this one equal to this one, and then our inlet, I guess here, is equal to this. And so there's that. And then I can just copy paste is probably a bad idea there. No, let's just do this. And non-construction and equal to that. And then vertical line from the center. Doesn't matter how long. And then I make equals. I have to find my line. Oh, it highlighted it nicely. Ah, equal to that. There. Now that's all constrained to itself. And wherever this meets up, there, 6.2. Oh, not 6.2. Equal. And make that a hole. Make the holes whole. Okay, so if I feel like changing that diameter, I can. Those are evenly spaced. That's like a typical filter module. We'll have an in, an out, and a CV. Although I would prefer that this one had more CVs. Our height is actually 87. Oh, that's the same as, ugh, God. When I hit the Windows button, and I guess it snaps me all the way back to home. No, it doesn't. Control scroll, Alt scroll, Shift scroll. None of them do. I don't know what's snapping me back to home. If it's a button I'm hitting or something. Spacebar? No. Okay, so those are the holes in the module. We should have that pretty accurately now. A little bit of a struggle on my part in terms of getting measurements done properly. I should have been able to do that faster, but we kept double and redouble checking and changing up the technique a little bit. Using arrays would probably be a better way to do a lot of these modules, although nonlinear circuits seems to be, you know, mad. So there can be all kinds of asymmetrical designs and stuff like that. So maybe relying on the array function is not as good as you'd think. Plus, if I want to alter any of these measurements, I need to remember that I use the array, and then I need to find this symbol to click in order to change that array operation. Whereas if I wanted to mess with this, well, if I wanted to add another jack somehow, violate the laws of physics and add another jack, I wouldn't be able to have them evenly spaced unless I use the array tool, although the offset would be different too. So tons of ways to do this stuff, but at least in this method, I've got access to these, and I don't know, the mirror functions. I could have just used the mirror function too, but then you have to click it and find the mirror function. I don't know which one's best. Anyway, okay, so we finished that sketch. We're done. And it only remembered a few of our attempts. What we do is we double click on the step in the timeline, and that'll allow us to view the sketch, sketch 2. Where's sketch? Why am I? Oh, all sketches are unviewed. So don't view sketch 1, view sketch 2. And now we can actually go into the tool window, click on the 2 selected profiles, and we can select more. So we can get the rest of our holes holed. This is symmetrical, so no matter where I print this, it'll be good. Okay, so those is our holes. That's as easy as it gets. This is revolutionary for me because throughout the years, I have tried to take a blank panel and drill all the holes and have it be anything but completely asymmetrical and off. The drill bit walks around and it does all kinds of dumb stuff. Now that I have a 3D printer, I can do this, and now I can just output that STL and put it on the printer, and in 20 minutes, we'll have an actual panel that is 100% ready for me to put it onto the eurorack setup, except for labeling and making it look pretty. So in the bodies, I've got a name, snappy name for it. This would be the, delay. Delay, I'm going to right click on that. Okay, well first, okay, save, Control S. Right click on our device, save as mesh. Then the window comes up for save as mesh. I don't touch any of the settings. Click OK. It verifies that I want it to go on the desktop, temp prints folder, save that. And because of the way that I've got things structured right now, I need to transfer this to the other computer. I will make my super slicer copy work on this machine later on. I have to do that at one of these junctions. So delay right here. I'm just going to send it through Discord like a boomer. We'll put it in stream projects. I don't know. People want to access that. All right, 30 kilobytes into the Discord, and now I have to hop over to my other computer and just simply throw it in the slicer and then get it onto the 3D printer. And that requires me to restart the Raspberry Pi. It's just going to take a minute. Oh, make sure this is clean. Clean, clean, clean. Pretty good. Okay. So, let me see here. Yoink. And then, we are looking for, oh yeah, I forgot to hydrate. We'll do that in a minute. Octopi local. Let's do Discord, get to the admin. Okay, try again on that. That'll pop up. And then we're looking for, oh no, what is Robert doing? Oh, it's game stuff. Refurbishing game. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just refurbish a game instead of just go get, and then password. I'm doing 3 things at once. Hold on, guys. I guess, you know, you don't want to ruin stuff, and so doing it in a game is a little bit more relaxing. Okay, and then Super Slicers on the desktop. Hold on, get that open. I still use Super Slicer. Everybody wants you to use their pet slicer and whatever. Whatever works. And then, because like the technology is constantly evolving. So I just, you know, whatever works. Let's see, so on the board, put that on a clean area of the bed that I know prints well. That's getting more rare. I need to swap out plates for a different plate of glass. Let's see. It would be neat if a company felt the need to send yours truly a nice printer, but you know, we don't get those kinds of things. Connect, maybe? Okay, that appeared to have worked. So if I test the BL Touch, it did not work. It did not work. Restart the firmware. Maybe that'll work. Clipper state ready, BL Touch down. Aha. Nah. Okay, cool, that worked. Okay, so now I can go to the slicer and just slice it. That's gonna take 35 minutes. Send it, upload and print. Okay, cool. That was that. That was that last little bit that you guys may never get to see, is the slicing, which unfortunately I don't have a good pipeline right now from the stream computer. All right, back to soldering. We've got a couple little things we need to put together on this. And then once that panel prints, we can do all the connectors and the potentiometers if I have them. That's going to be the other part of it. I think it might need to be another, you know, linear circuit special. This one, actually, I need to put a post on it because this is a little weird. Julian did not like that could happen. Usually your potentiometers would have hardware on it so that you could screw it on, and then that would be like super strong. But I decided to not do that with the Sirius filter because, I don't know, it seems more fun like this. Julian hates all of the knobs that I use. I can't please him, so I'm not going to try. I'm going to stop worrying about that. Okay, so for this one, we need a 7805 voltage regulator. And I have to see if I have any. I don't know if we can acquire any from other hardware. But that'll be down to these bins here. Bins and bins of stuff. These are the through-hole things. I don't know if that includes the 7804. I think that if I have any, they're going to be in here. I really dislike the 7804. I don't know if I could swap in an LM1117. Might be able to. I don't have any of the LM1117 like surface mount versions, but I do have a lot of the any of the through-hole versions. I do have a lot of the surface mount versions. let's take a look at some of these and see if I've got the part. This helps just to look at the tiny text. If I wasn't doing this thing with like a high power microscope webcam, because I need the frame rates and I need 1080p, but if I wasn't doing that, I would simply be using a crochet, or is it crochet, needlepoint. It's like a needlepoint magnifier that they sell on Amazon, and it's all plastic. It's got a little LED on it, a little rechargeable battery and an LED, and it's the coolest looking headset ever. And it really actually does a very good job of magnifying things. And having a headlamp is kind of important. Before the invention of that product, and before when I was doing this, before the webcam, when I was doing this stuff, I would use a Petzl headlamp. It had a little retracting headband on it, but I would use that headlamp in order to be able to see what I was doing, along with either a loop, like a jeweler's loop. That was annoying because you had to like either situate it in your face, or it's a 2N22. I think these are all transistors. I don't know if these are regulators. Yeah. I don't know if I've got a 7805 in this package. What the hell's that one? 8811. 8. 8811. No. How's the printer doing? I can hear it. It's starting to do its calibrations. It's garrising. So where do I have 7805? It might be in a different bin, because I think these are all 22222s for transistory kinds of stuff. I could put a pin compatible regulator on a little adapter board, but that would be a bit much for these things. Kind of just want to put a 7805 in there. I forget where we found the other ones though. I have a stash somewhere maybe. Yeah, I've got these. These are like older than I am. But they're not in the right package. They're not going to fit. So where else? 7805s. 7809? No. Needs to be 05, otherwise things blow up. The LM7805's voltage regulator. It's the stuff of legends. It's in like tons and tons of different things. It's not very efficient. It converts the excess volts into heat. It's not really all that good, but it is everywhere. Nope, nothing. Oh, I want to put these in there while I'm here. I don't know where they go. Probably here. Anybody hiding out? Do we have like TO220 stuff hiding out? No, it doesn't look like it. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's the one I dropped earlier. That's the one I dropped. That's going to be a 2222. 2222. Yep. All twos all the time. Maybe there's another hardware bin that I've got it in. Not sure. Not about to go out and buy these parts. There's probably a million places that I could get, or I could use one of my guys over here and combine that with one of the little adapter boards to just make a little flat voltage regulator. But I would rather find the real deal, because I know I've got some around. Oh yeah, the other day I was talking about the way transistors used to be packaged, and I got something similar here. Actually, I know what this is. This is I think this is a high voltage tester. This creates this. Maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe this is something else. I think this might be an operational amplifier, but basically all of your electronics are in these little cans with radial pins. Oh, this is for a different module. This is for one of the VCOs, the voltage controlled oscillators. Yeah, that's right. I think it is. I think it is a like an ancient op amp. It's part of that, like what I was talking about earlier, where you have certain parts that you like to have. You're like, I got this thing lying around and it's kind of special, so I want to put this into my project. And then they end up putting it into projects that get publicly shared, and I end up having to look for this weird ancient technology that we've abandoned that apparently sounds really good for musicians, but leaves me kind of in the lurch looking for, you know, canned parts that were from the 1960s. A lot of switches. That's not what I'm looking for. Whoa, what do we got here? Let's see. Some right angle surface mount headers. Why did I keep those? Why would I hold on to this stuff? Oh, and a lot of these. Oh no, these are... Yeah, these are normal toggle switches. But they might be too big for this guy. Yeah, they were way too big. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, let's see. Old Dexcom G6s. Nothing that looks like... These, I think, are high-power MOSFETs from an old project that never got off the ground. That's how all this stuff is. So what I'm looking for is a 7805 voltage regulator. Oh, these are going to be important in a minute. Need more potentiometer kits in my life. Okay, this goes over here. We're going to need that soon. Assuming the 3D print is underway and happily going. It is. I don't have a camera on it right now, so I can't flip over to the 3D printer cam, because the 3D printer cam was that one that was pointed at my back. So I have all these cameras. Yeah, okay, so apparently the last time I had to source one of these things, I just simply reached into the ether and plucked one out and had it. Maybe it's in this one over here, the microcontroller stuff, where I kind of put bench stuff, but not things that I should be soldering into things. Let's check. These tackle boxes are quite useful. Ooh, man, nobody today. Everybody's watching Uwo's printer, right? Slab has a 24-hour stream where it's just his printer. I tried doing that once, and well, no, not really. I've never tried it because it's a little bit much to set up. Sort of looking through all these bins. These bins have been around for like 100 years. Just seeing if I can find. He was there for a while. It's like a 20-hour print, and he's got 500 people watching. It's crazy. That's crazy stuff. And it's just his printer. I could do that. People used to tell me that I should do that, right? OctoJ really wanted... You guys don't know OctoJ. OctoJ's the former... Well, no, he's still moderator. He's actually still... He could pop in here and start throwing hands. But he's from like 2016 on. Went and got a life. But anyway, so he was like, you should just do a stream that's the printer. And I'm like, you know, I tried and I had like 6 people watching. Nobody wanted to watch the printer. So I think at a certain point you kind of get over. He's gone now, cleaning the kitchen. I see. He can do what he wants. But yeah, it was like I didn't get all that much fanfare for it. It didn't really work. So he's, I think, over a viewership number where he can do stuff like that, and it'll be like kind of a novel idea for them. And I'll think it's awesome, and they will watch it. And that's cool. That's very cool. I am not seeing a 7805 in here. I think I may have... The one that I used on one of these modules was the last one. It was the last of that type of thing that I had. Now the question is, can I use an LM1117 and get the same pinout on one of these breakout boards that I have? So... LM1117. Actually don't know if they are pin compatible. I really don't want to have to buy a 7805 in this package. It's kind of a weird package. What is what? Flywing tech, huh? Oh my god. Why should I choose a particular voltage regulator? Overview of the 7805. Well, the LM1117 is going to have a little bit different of a pinout. So it's not going to be a direct adapter board unless I have something like that. I don't think I do. I'm just trying to think of where I got the 7805 last time. Is there some piece of ancient technology that I have, like in my derelict boards, that might happen to have something like that? I don't think there is. Where do we get that? A conundrum. Wrapped in a mystery. I need to clean this thing out, don't I? Yeesh. Do I have one active on one of these boards already? Nah, I don't think so. I'm using mostly voltage regulators. Let's see, this thing from the DJ board, that got its thing from elsewhere. These computery guys, I don't think are old enough to need a 5-volt reg like that. Yeah, this would have used the full big deal. Yeah, that's too advanced. This is too weird. This one's too old. And this one's too advanced. 3D printer board, yeah, no. Okay, so finding this specific voltage regulator is going to be very, very difficult to do. Very, very difficult. There are pin compatible ones that I have not for designs like this. They're for other, stuff. They're for breadboard projects. They're not for permanent installations, and especially not for weird nonlinear circuit designs. Over in this stuff here, what do you use? You don't have a regulator. Yeah, this one has all kinds of weird stuff going on. I would love to get this one working. This is a VCO. And then I have another VCO that's a circuit board that I snapped in half and tried to repair, and it didn't work out. This thing, I think this one just uses 12 volts. Yeah, I think this one just uses 12 volts. All right, that's not useful. I remember having one of the 7805s in a design, and it just like, I don't know where I got it from. Trying to think, did the Automaton use a 7805? I don't know. I thought I had more than just the one, though. I thought I had a couple of them in a drawer. Maybe I need to go through those TO package things a little bit more. We need to just like sift through all of them and see if I've got one. Where are those parts? Those are here. Yeah. Okay, where in here do I have other TO92s? It looks like it's just that little collection there. And the adjacent. So, all right, now let's get sifting. Trying to think of what other products would have like a 7805 as blatant as that. And a lot of the time when designers, like board designers, are going and making a product, they'll use some random ass regulator instead of a 7805. They'll use just, some off-the-shelf part, like a tunable regulator, and have one or two extra components in there. Hey, what's up, Clarence? We're trying to actually like finish a module. I was going to work just generically on all of the modules, but it turns out like we can get pretty close to finishing this delay. So I'm looking into finding 072G AME 8811. Maybe I need to look that up. No. LM 293. So we're trying to finish this module. I've got the blinders on. I'm not looking at all the other work that I need to do. And we're trying to find a voltage regulator that is a TO92 7805 voltage regulator. I've got plenty that are not that size. That's a whole bin full of the damn things. I don't have one that is the tiny little TO, whatever the hell package this thing is that we're looking at right now. So I've got a bin that's full of this size component, but most of them, I believe, are just transistors, because it's a typical transistor package. Unless I've made an order that I didn't remember, and I've got a bunch of those regulators in the order that I didn't remember. I've got a bin that's full of these guys that are actually just like BC part numbers, but none of them are 7805. None of them are the right thing. I swear in the past I've had whole reams of 7805s of these things. Whole, like, they put them on these like paper things. But yeah, we just have to make a pile and go through the pile and then look at the other pile and then cry. Because I think most of these are tutus. They're not your tutu. I'm still curious. Hold on. I'm going to look this up. AME 8811. Analog microelectronics. This is... I don't think that's the right... Wait, is that a voltage regulator? $300 milliamps CMS low dropout voltage regulator. Okay. Positive linear regulators featuring low quiescent. Quiescent. Is there a better way to... Is it quiescent or something? I don't know. 23. Pocket and handheld application. It looks like no voltages are being mentioned, so it's adjustable. C1, C2, 5 volts, AME 8811, typical application. TO92 package. Why is this not... Ugh, annoying. Oh. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so what model is this? AET. 3.3 volts. Damn it! Damn it! 7805 is 5 volts. These don't even go up to 5 volts. Here, 5 volts. Theft. If it's so AME 8811 Swift. Wait, 8811. We were 8. Yeah, still 3 volts. 3.1, 2.8, 3.1. Yeah, so the 8811 does not go up to 5 volts. Or if it does, it's buried in this table. Okay, that's not what we need, but it is a voltage regulator. You're so close to being great. We could have had a thing. It's all 2s all the way down. Wait, hold on. Oh, we got an ad break in 2 minutes. Be aware. All of my viewer are going to be subject to ad break. What are we? 222. The 2N2-222-222 is an old staple. The 3904, 3906 kind of replace it. But man, there's a lot of tutus in here. If I had any use for them. It's just a generic NPN or PNP, I forget which one it is. Silicon transistor. 2222. I think the 39 or 7805s were in here. I think I may have used them up. I don't want to buy 7805s. They're going to sit in that drawer until the day I die. Whenever I need 5 volts, I go for different regulators because we don't need the worst. Where did that one go? Okay, if that was a 7805, I'm going to be kind of cross. One of the smallest things about Twitch ads that annoy me the most is when you join a stream and it says So-and-so is taking an ad break. Meanwhile, you see them in the corner doing anything but taking an ad break. Yeah, well, so for me, if you want the inside track, because I'm willing to give you guys the inside track. This is the interface that I have right now. All I get this warning here that says ad starts in 1 minute, 25 seconds, and it gives you a little like timeline of how your ads are split up. I can actually override and start an ad like in the middle of this, and that can help kill the ads later. But then I get ad starts in 1 minute, 12 seconds, right? That's what I get. That's why I've put together the overlay and everything. So when the ad break starts, I don't have to do anything. It's just going to tell me that it's running an ad. But like, streamer is taking an ad break and they're doing something else. That's because like, it just happens on my end. There's nothing else like, you know, I don't know. A lot of streamers don't care, and so they'll just run the ad, and you lose whatever's under the ad. Whatever they do during the ad, it's just gone. That's why sometimes if I can bother to actually shut up in somebody's stream and not leave 1,000 messages, which is hard for me to do. I'm really bad at it. I think that's why a lot of fellow streamers don't really like bother that much, because I get in their chats and I start just talking. But anyway, if I can bother with not interacting with the community, I'll just rewind Twitch a little bit. I'll go to the VOD. But you guys can hop over to YouTube if you want to like continue during the ad. Continue hearing what I'm doing during the ad. My ad blocker, the script that I run to block ads, will put me in a low quality video. And it's from that little preview, and I don't know where it's getting audio from, but it works okay. It's just a little jarring when everything drops down to 480p. That should have popped up a giant window that said ad running. Oh, ads starting soon. See, okay, so after that countdown, it is then, there it goes. Now it's actually started. It doesn't start really when the timer expires. Very strange. The wording is one of those streams where you join. Oh, well, if the ones where it automatically plays an ad, that's if I don't know, can you still, Clarence is, yeah, you're subbed. Okay, the ones that play at the beginning are pre-roll ads, and that's what I used to have enabled. I don't have to do mid-rolls if I do pre-rolls. So that means that everybody that clicks into the window has to watch an ad, but then they don't have to watch one in the middle of stream. I kind of like that better, because then you're not missing content, and I don't have to pause my content in order to be fair to everybody. But I'm trying it out because supposedly my discoverability is better like this, but I think I'm missing about 20 viewers because I'm doing that. That or I'm wildly unpopular and not cool at all, which, you know, okay. I'm willing to accept that into my heart. But yeah, I don't know. My solution would be not to run any ads and just have it so that the viewers are supporting people. That would have been nice. But apparently infinite growth of businesses is a thing. And so Twitch has to grow. And so I gotta go. No, so instead I have to run ads. Very annoying. Wait, what was that part number in this one again? This is PT 23. Oh no, that's P911. Okay, never mind. P911, I don't want to work for them. So I don't know if I've got voltage regulators. Huh. Man, I don't want to have to buy them. I know I can buy them. Maybe that's what we'll have to do. I'll admit it, if I click on a stream and an ad immediately plays, I'm more inclined to watch something else. Yeah, listen, I'm there with you. But it's like bigger number for having pre-roll ads. Yeah, exactly. I have spare 7805s, but they're all TO220. That's what this entire section is right here. This is all of my 7805s, and they're all TO220 with tabs. And they're all older than me. They're older than I am. These came from a research lab. Hey, welcome back from the ads, everybody. I apologize. I apologize for Twitch, which will never, ever apologize to anyone ever. Ads are butt. They're terrible. And they've been forced upon your lowly streamer. I'm really going to have to do this. Oh, not TO92. Which one is it? TO220? No, what's the... Okay. I hate Google. It's so useless these days. All I want is packages. I just want to see packages. Show me package. Just that's all I need, Google, is just to show me close-ups of packages. Just all the packages, just right in my face. And maybe shake them around a little bit. Yeah, shake it up a little bit so I know which package is which. So I can get to know the packages better. Just, yeah, zoom in on the packages and just wiggle them around in my face. Oh, I was right, TO92. It just lied to me. Entrance the ads. Give a Rich Evans ads shout out every time they start. Oh, embrace them. I mean, you know. ATST. None of these are TO. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the wrong search. TO92. It just ignored me. 20? I don't want 20 of them. 100? I don't want that many. All right, so I'm just gonna have to like buy one of these. 20 of them for $6, but it gets here sometime next fucking month. All Prime. No. It just ignored. It ignored the search term. Okay, never mind. August 21st. August 17th. I can't. Oh, well, okay, so if I add them to the DigiKey order, I'll actually get them in a timely manner. But it looks like the TO92, like nobody wants to sell it. I guess because it's such a wildly unpopular part. Who would have thought? Nonlinear circuits? Who would have thought? Let's use this part. Surely it'll be a good idea. What else could have one? Usually this is how I get stuff faster. But turns out just a regular order through DigiKey with all the other hardware that I'm going to need for these modules will be necessary. So 7805, TO92 7805 is added to the list. So we can't test this thing today unless I pipe. Well, no, I'm going to need both the 5 volts and the spread of voltages to run everybody. This makes me sad. What did First of all, how dare you? Oh yeah, this is my old webcam. This should find a new home, to be honest. And to move some of these parts around. Printer's awfully quiet right now. What's going on over there? Are you done? Oh no, it's still printing. Still printing the panel. What have you missed? Not much. We did a little bit of measuring and panel designing, and I've got that at the printer right now. And we're looking for a 7805 in a TO92 package. It doesn't appear to exist. Even though I could have sworn that I had a couple. I used one on another module, and it might have been this one. It wasn't have been this one. I guess I'll have to not dig up what happened to that one. I'll just have to find a... Oh, these need to go. These need to go in here. The LM11 3700s. 13700. We've got another package of them. Hold on. Shush. You shush. Wait, that wasn't you guys. That was me. I was looking through here, and I guess that bounced the power cord a little bit. This has gotten really sensitive back here. Where is... Wait, what are you guys using? Oh, you guys have a... Look at that. Man, come on. Oh, it's not a 7805. Sometimes you'll find them in stuff like this lamp. You'll find a 7805, and you're like, why did you do that? That is not efficient. Do you guys happen to have it? Nope. Wait. Ah. 0425IT. What the hell is that? It's probably some kind of a transistor doing a bunch of switching. And it was probably super cheap because this is a light bulb circuit. Yeah, so you really haven't missed much. We've been doing a lot of part searches. There's a couple particular parts that I'm missing in order to finish off this module. We will still be able to do the front panel. We designed and sort of did the spacing of all of the stuff that goes to the front panel that of this particular module that we're building. This is a nonlinear circuits filter, and it's a delay. It'll be able to cause nice reverberations and sort of make our synthesizer sound a little bit more high quality and musical and whatever else we desire. What did this one? No, it's not. I'm sort of just like flailing right now, trying to look for something resembling a voltage regulator, because it would be kind of cool if I was able to actually power this thing and test it today. But the disorganized state of my shop is not exactly assisting us in that venture. I don't have anything that has like a 7804. Like these are all a bunch of TO92s, but they're all transistors. So I could maybe adapt one in and do some electronics magic. But I don't want to like put a nice regulator on a circuit that's supposed to get kind of a dumpy regulator, because it, while it won't do anything, it's like kind of a philosophy thing. It's probably perfectly compatible if I get a 7805, like one of the big tabbed ones, the big TO package, and I somehow get this one in there. That is perfectly acceptable, although I think the quiescent current might be a little bit much, but it also like won't fit. It's like goes over here. Yeah, it's not really gonna do it. But like, I think I've seen it before like that. The problem is when you do that, you've got a part that's supposed to be this big and you're putting something this big in there, and it like mechanically, if anything happens, this will tear out. It gets pretty violent. All circuits deserve a big package. I deserve big packages, Google. Show me big packages. These are all my big packages. I've got bigger packages, but these are just the ones that are in this drawer. This is just unacceptable. I can't believe I don't have any 7805s in that TO92 size. It's kind of shocking to me, actually, to be honest. I don't know where my life has gone that it's veered off in that direction. These are, I unfortunately ordered too many of these. I've got these in surface mount versions, but these are those faders. So they need a place. These headers are kicked out. These need to go somewhere else. Arduino sized headers. So it's a switching thing. Oh, this is the one that I'm cleaning out. Cleaning out, making room. New parts coming in. Go. Oh, I think I dumped two of them in here. I've got a lot of these through-hole 113700s. We got to figure out some kind of a circuit that we could use these on. Why is there a surface mount one in here? That needs to find a drawer. I'm going to put that over here. That needs to find like a specific bin. Okay, so yeah, we're striking out. I'm struck out on this that particular size of voltage regulator. I just don't have anything compatible. Here, I'm going to get all these headers out of here. And we're waiting for the print to cool so we can do some of the connectors. I can always solder that TO92 part from the other side. That's easy to do. Well, this was a clever use of this bin, but it's not. Got a bunch of these, huh? These are like Arduino-sized female headers. I don't like these because you can't cut them. All right, that frees up a little space. Darn, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else that I would have that particular type of part. Just thinking about it right now. Having a little think to myself, trying to see if I can come up with any other place I might have something like that. And I don't think there is. Like, what about... No, that's not compatible. What about... No. There's probably some device that I have, some circuit board thing sitting around that has a 7805 in that package. This is a demo for the headphone amplifier chip. That's got huge caps all over it, but I don't think those are 78s. Those two transistors. Those are something else. Hold on. I think this is designed for plus minus. Or no, I think it's for DC. Wow, this got real dusty. Yeah, that's some other thing. 78M12, 75M12. No, that's not. 7BM12. No, that's not. That's not what I'm looking for. There you go. All right, so my options are, I guess, just DigiKey, because if I order them from anywhere else, they're going to take like a month to get here. So that's just what I'm faced with. And again, this is due to this thing that I've been complaining about all day, which is where these board designers will use whatever they have in front of them and not very common generic stuff. Now, if I were faced with a circuit this size that I had to put some kind of a voltage regulator on, and I guess 7805 kind of fits for what the circuit is, because this is like Radio Shack or like you know, ham radio level. Maybe a ham radio you might use an LM1117 on, but an LM1117 on this might be a bit much for the 5-volt regulation of this. 7805 is sort of this generic beat 'em up style chip. So I guess I can't really fault nonlinear, although really I would have wanted to use a surface mount one. It seems like the through-hole one takes up a lot less space though, looking at the size of everything here. Yeah, I think it's on me. I'm just annoyed. I wonder which module it was that used... Let me go... I'm going to go see. I'm going to go over here. PDSM6912. Yeah, that's the part number. There you go. That's it. You got it. You got it, Haas. That's definitely it, and not some stupid joke. All right, hold on. Let me go see if I can find the one that actually used the 7805. My precious 7805. I don't know what else I'd have that would use one though. Like that's not this stuff. This one has just 12-volt electronics. You know, those are BCs. This is one of the only modules I have that fully works. This is the CEM3340. This one uses a surface mount regulator. Or no regulator, actually. I think because the CEM3340 is compatible. This one's a non-linear. One of my best. Oh god, this board's a mess. This one needs defluxing. Flux everywhere. This one I think uses an 1117. Brain Custard uses nothing. It's just, whew. Brain Custard is a mess. I like my Brain Custard though. ADSR 312. Oh, the ADSR 312. No, that one doesn't use a 7805. That one just uses straight up 12 volts, I think. Yeah, it just uses 12 volts. So I don't know which one I had that used, because I remember seeing one of these TO92 regulators. I have a memory of one. I don't know why. I have memory of this. Like this one doesn't use that. This is just generic parts. We might look through and see what's on here. Damn it. I was like 78. I'm like seeing them in my, when I close my eyes. Oh, these are all trash. I need to throw those out. All these failed LED experiments. Did not work. I was going to use these as like generic LED holders for breadboard projects, but they really didn't work. Okay, so that's not anything. What else do we have on the top shelf that I could ruin in order to put this module into functionality? Some places sell pin compatible, like little PCB voltage regulators that'll make you like amps upon amps, and they fit right in where the 7805 fit. I don't think I have anything like that though. Yeah, not really. Arduino has like an LM1117 on it. That's what this is right here. This is actually a brake sensor from a BMW. A lot of weird stuff up here. One would think that that would include some type of 7805. You know, the one part that I need should just appear out of nowhere. It's looking grim. What's that board? Oh, that's the joystick board. What did you use for a voltage regulator? What was Cytec using as a voltage regulator? Oh boy, it's small. Even many years ago. It's like we deal with a lot of like modular synthesizer stuff that's like sort of amateur and project-y. And so you don't get like a view of this, the professionals, and so you go and you look at something that somebody made earlier, like years and years earlier than that, and they've got like way more advanced stuff going on. I don't know what's going on there. I think the voltage regulation is down to whatever USB is providing, and this is a throttle. Yeah, that's the brains. Okay, didn't find it. Not gonna find it. Gonna have to order stuff. Not too happy that I'm gonna have to order stuff. What is this? What are you? Now, would one of these adapt a 7805 to like an LM1117? That's what they are for, although this one's cut weird. I was doing something unholy with it. Oh, there we go. 7805. That'll work right away. That's just a JFET. Just a JFET. There's no TO92s in here. TL074. I had a memory once, not sure where I put it. Yeah. Don't I know that feeling? All right, so an LM1117 5-volt regulator could potentially go on this board, but it would also... it wouldn't even fit. It wouldn't even work. It doesn't, it's too big. Okay, screw it. I just gotta order parts. Darn. Now I'm mad. You made me mad, chat. This is your fault. Not my own fault for not knowing what stuff. All right, let's find all the knobs. That'll be more fun. So, assuming that I eventually scrounge up an LM1117, we need a, what is this value? See, with nonlinear circuits, they don't name stuff properly. The same thing with this board too. This one we were going to look into, and I was going to do a little surface mount soldering with you guys, but I kind of got an impression that I would be able to actually finish this one. Oh God, these capacitors are just all oriented weird. I feel like I need to take hot air to them or something. Fix them up, make them look nice. That's like a cold joint right there. Jeez. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. So this, by the way, the nonlinear circuits, he puts values on the actual circuit board, which is really kind of annoying. It's really very annoying, actually. It's my big pet peeve with nonlinear. And I guess if you airdrop this in to like a soldering iron, your local soldering iron, you know, you could build it without any instruction, but a lot of these have little edits on it. Like this one, this would be a 10K ohm resistor, except they made an edit and they said it was now 100K, and they had to put it into the literature. Oh, this one over here by this part, by the transistor, the BC547, this one's actually 100K. No, not that one. It's this one over here. So it's like, what? So yeah, anyway, the values on the board, these should be symbols. And they should be symbols like they did here, except this one screwed it up too. How did this one screw it up? It looks so much more professional. Well, first of all, I can't find any data on this at all whatsoever, which I kind of like. I kind of like that I can't find any information on this anywhere. So it's up to me to really figure this out and build it. This is based off a Thomas Henry design, which are legendary, but they're using these sort of weird R8F, R1, well, R18, yeah, okay, R18, R1F or R1DF, R12, well, R12, R17? No. It's like they're using these referential part numbers where you have multiple. So you'll have C1A, C1B, C1C. That's really bad. You don't do that. Never do that. Everything should just be R1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, C1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you want to, you can shuffle the numbers around a little bit in order to group likenesses, group like to functions. But like, you should not be putting like a C1B, because it's just confusing. You're just supposed to put the numeric, one number next to the symbol, and that way you have everything in a bill of materials. If you make any changes, the changes in the bill of materials they only need to be referenced as a, like, hey, I changed something here. Not like, hey, this part of the board, you got to look for this part of the board, make a left, and then you'll be in, you'll see this guy standing there in a weird hat. He's always out there. You want to look for the street that's after that, but not the light after that. You'll get to the light, you've gone too far. You need to look for the guy in the hat, and then there's like a weird bush. Like it's when you reference those part numbers with R1, R2, R3, R4, and you have it go from one edge of the board to the other, then you look up at the bill of materials and you see I'm looking for R8. And you know that if you're near the number 8 in your resistors, then you're close to where you need to be to find the part you're looking for. You don't need to give somebody a guide or, driving instructions to get to the component. So, all right, we're gonna do some resistors here, and this board is something else. I'll give you the full intro in just a second here. We're kind of jumping from thing to thing. The thing in the 3D printer's got a cool. It's going to take a little while, and so I'm going to leave it there and probably get it to it either tomorrow on stream or tonight. The 7805, I'm a little incensed about. I'm a little annoyed. Many years ago, I could have gone to Radio Shack to get one. I don't think I'm going to be able to scrap one out of any of the stuff that I have, although I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking. No, I don't know if I'll be able to. That's strange because that's like a part that I absolutely should have. It really is. So anyway, let's do some resistors because that'll give me a little bit better of a sense. I have resistors that are stored in these little surface mount containers. I would not suggest you do it this way. The real good way to do it is to buy, these are like $40, $20. They're just part sample books, and they've got all the resistors in order. And what I do is, instead of allowing the part sample book to do this, because you've got 10 billion resistors in it, I actually open up the binder, take the sleeve out, and then I'll take the bottom one and I'll flip it upside down. And so now your two things that are trying to go like this, because they were like this, they're now fighting each other, and it flattens this out a little bit. But you do that, and then you bend it a little bit on the edge of a table, and that'll sort of straighten everybody out. I had to put a 16-pound weight on this also to crush it down, but now it's yeah, anyway. you get what I'm putting on. I'm gonna get my resistors out of these things just because I want to use it up. I want to use up these things, free up these bins. Yeah, counter stacking, is that a thing in card collecting? Everybody's collecting those cards now. I really feel like the market for these Pokemon cards, I feel like it's being artificially inflated by the parent company. I know that there are speculative websites. Mail prep? Oh, I see. Okay. Is that gender enhancing mail prep? Oh, no, mail like mail, not mail. Okay. Anyway, the packages that I'm looking for in the mail. Father, what does that all mean? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm getting them out of these, but I'm going to be decommissioning these so that I have more stuff. I'm still pissed that Radio Shack and GameStop are owned by Lopez, the annoying ad guy with the black Lambo from old YouTube. Oh, God. I didn't know that. The way Logan Paul Circle does more to manipulate the market than the Pokemon Company. Used to play it in high school. Huh. I don't understand, like, if everybody is able to just go around and, like, they say they have all these cards that are worth hundreds of dollars, and maybe if you sold them, you might get that amount. But people are going around and definitively saying, like, yeah, I've got thousands and thousands of dollars in these cards, and they can just go out and buy the packs and then find a lot of these worth quite a bit. It kind of, like, a little alarm bell goes up in my head about speculative collector's market stuff, because I don't think the prices that people are quoting are the prices. And, you know, far be it from me to be correct about a single thing, but it does not feel like it's in a good place. It feels kind of like, you know, is it Wizards of the Coast, or is it somebody else that's actually printing and, you know, in charge of how many rare cards are out there? I think they're greasing up a little bit. They're not greasing up. I think they're spraying a little bit of starter fluid into the carburetor. 570 galore dynamics processor. This thing is a $300 module if you buy it built. It's from Timo Rosendahl, who posts stuff about their builds on Instagram. There is no schematic, and I was barely able to find a bill of material that was on, which website? It wasn't Modular Addict. It was another website had it. See, like, at least Nonlinear will publish a picture of the PCB, and that way, if your silk screen is off by a little bit, you can look in here and see what it actually is supposed to be. You know, that's not, Nonlinear does that. I like that. But with the 570, we are even more in the weeds. So I've been trying to do all the capacitors. It's not a truck, by the way. I've been trying to get a good image of the PCB, and the only one that I can get is that. Everything else is like GTX 570s. 570 galore. Maybe if we look that up, we'll Galornden core. Oh no, I did. I did, and I didn't find anything. TY no longer owns RS in USA. Now it's owned by Unicomer. LF does the BK in R2. How are we gonna feed the bird? What? What did I just, what? I smelled toast. You read stuff sometimes and you have absolutely no context for a single one of the words that you've just read. So 570 Galore PCB is what I bought, and I only bought the PCB. And I have no information other than pages about Throwback Thursday from Instagram. There's an Etsy review. SynthCube. I think this is where I actually found the, no, maybe not. I mean, this is a lot of good designs. Don't get me wrong. This is not an attack on Timo. We just don't have any information, which is kind of the way I like it. Ah, here we go. Sex and tissue resolved. Co-expression networks reveal. What? What was that, huh? Let's get away from that. Yeah, okay, no information. 570 Galore is what it's called. 6 HP rack module. I'm gonna have to come up with the front. Oh no, I have the front panel. I actually have the front panel. And this I got off of a different website. It's a shame. What do we got? Uploads, and then we have like a giant name for the PDF. This comes from, I guess, a Fresh Click. That's just the brand. No. Ugh, get out of here. Yes, surely people will love it if we capture their browser and don't let them go. Oh, and then we got to wait for Modular. Modular Addict is a good website. They got a lot of good circuit boards. We've bought a lot of stuff from them, but their website is hosted on a potato. It's literally like a pocket calculator. 570 come. Oh, so this is dead link. Dead link. Here is a demo. So like this is, I don't have a lot of information about this. I can see the demo. I've been meaning to listen to the demo. I bought this without much information. Nothing. Wait, must build. Did it actually open or? Didn't open anything. They just put a dot. So yeah, that's, I just wanted you guys to know. Hosting websites on old disposable vapes. I'm not going to put it past a vape to be able to do that these days. Modern microcontrollers are nothing to sneeze at. So I've been going through this and installing the parts by designation. And I can tell you this is very annoying. Because if they had just used C1, C2, C3, C4, things would, well, if they use C4, none of us would have to worry about any of this. But if they had used C1, C2, etc., I could have actually found these, and if they were interrupted designators, I could actually have made any sense of them. I ask you, chat, help me with this. And maybe it'll be better when we're more familiar with everybody in here. Because I think I'm going to have to start crossing off C's and R's in order to figure out what this thing is. Hold on, let me find it. That's interesting. That one says R10. Where was my mystery part? I had a mystery part that I'm pretty unsure of. And I think I need to go through and... Oh my God. Okay, hold on. We'll find it. We will find it. Wait, really? That's actually a thing? That's cool. Not the vaping part. The vaping part is super fucking dorky. You should not vape. But it's interesting that you can host a website that way. What are this? So C7A this part right here. Capacitor, number 7, letter A. By the way, in the bill of materials, capital C7A. Mine's an 0805, but yo, electronics is hard and it gets you no bitches. It's got me some bitches. What are you talking about? It's been fine. I mean, you could look, music will get you ladies. I'm not calling them bitches. I don't like that. But music will get you ladies, and we're doing music with electronics. Also, I don't care. Haha. Okay. Anyway, back to what we were doing. C7A, capital letters. C7 lowercase a. What is this? This is a clown show. So down here we have C2A, and for some reason it's cut off by the trace. I'm putting dirt all over it. C2 or C7, they look very similar. Nah, there's no story time, sorry. I'm a lady and I'm here for the electronics. Yeah, and we've had like CyanoCAD, we've had all kinds of people here for the like geez. Actually, creator of the modules that we were gonna take a look at clouds, maybe Emily Gillette, like fucking coding was invented by, like, what are you talking about? I don't want any bitches. Have you seen the price of dog food lately? What? What are you talking about? I mean, yeah. How could you not? How could you not? Anyway, all right. Distracting weird chat comments aside, this has been very frustrating, this build. And I think I need to go through all the C's and mark them off and see which one that weird marking actually is, if not a resistor. Itches get scritches. That's right. That's right. So let's snip this, and then let's see if we can teach it how to Dougie. Can you teach me how to Dougie? Teach me how to Dougie. All right, so we're marking off the C's that I've installed. And we're going to see what's left. Because these are some of the most disorienting markings I've ever seen on a PCB. I don't know how most of them look like they're half scratched off. It's kind of incredible. And then there's this weird, like, ghost line that's running across here. Why is there a ghost? I don't know what the hell's going on. This has been a nightmare, and I've only gotten through some of the capacitors. So C11 and C12, I'm going to mark those as installed. C12, we got that. Oh, that's C1 to C12. So we'll just, I guess, do a slash through C12. 11, hold on. 10, 9, 8. This is going to take a minute. Okay, so we got to go to the other side of the board to get most of those. So actually, let's do that first. Okay, damn it. My little duck PCB holders are giving out. All right, so let's go through the C's here. We've got, in no particular order, which is really annoying to me, C5, C6, C1. 5, 6, 1, 7, 8, 2, 7, 8, 2. Oops. C da. Da. C da. CDA. CDA. 10, 9, 3. 10, 9, 3. 11 and 4 are still at large. Nothing, nothing, nothing on the wings. Okay, so let's flip it around again. Ah! Did this get run through the clothes dryer? I know. It's just cheaply made, I suppose. To me, my ducks. There we go. Okay. It's a good challenge, though. It's a good challenge. Just to be so, you know, thrown to the weeds here. So 11 and 12. Mark off 11. C4 is still at large. Did we see a C4? I don't think we did. CAF2, CAF1. Why are there so many digits? CAF2 and 1. That's this one and this one. Why would you do it this way? You might as well just like write a sentence that describes what it's doing. C3F and C1F. C3F, C1, C1E. Where's C1F? C2F, C1F. This is so confusing. Okay, C2F and C2L. C2F, C2L. C2F, C2F. Oh, C2L. Cool. Okay. Let me get like a pointer so I'm not... My giant fleshy fingers aren't poking at stuff. Because like this is not much of an indicator of what I'm pointing at. We're using the process of elimination to figure out what a mystery part is. So C2, we got C2L, C lowercase d L. This is, so when stuff starts getting cut off like this, you know, like here, it helps if you have like structures for the parts so that you can figure out what that was. And you have a consistent font and you have consistent capitalization, which these do not have. So our two parts, CDL, don't really know. CDL, C6, L. So CDL down here. What in the world is this? It's a C. That could be a 6. But it's a little... What do our 6s look like? We don't really have an example. That is a weird 9. Can I get a 6? C3 is like a really weird... This font is terrible. Is that 16 or C1L? I haven't seen a 6 yet. C1L. Now I'm thinking about Cedo, one of the best characters in the Fallout games universe. The man who was raised by lab gorillas. That wasn't... I'm trying to remember what era that was... I know my Fallout. I don't know that. What? Is that 2? I don't think it's Fallout 1. All right, so this one is a mystery. C something L. Of the L's that I have left over, I don't have any L's left over. C, that's not a 5. We haven't reached any of the C1s and C2s, huh? C3, C4, E. C3E. It doesn't quite... It's one of the... What did I do here? Let's flip it around so we can look at it right side up. see, we got C1A, right? Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, so we haven't got there yet. There we go. C something something. There's a little... Oh, I just messed it all up. What is it? What in the world is going on there? I mean, I guess that's the L. We can see the L. But is that a C6L? It does look a bit like this B, RB. That's a 6, I think. But I don't have it. There's no C6. That's not a thing. Of the L's that we have left, we've got 5L. But there's no, that top piece is not present. Oh, it's from Nuka World. I haven't played Nuka World. I have it installed. I bought all that at DLC recently. Now there's probably going to be a remaster because Microsoft is actually lighting a fire under Bethesda's butt and saying, hey, you guys have this wildly popular TV show and you're like whizzing all of your popularity down your pants that these games have made. You've got like a legendary set of games. Please tell people what's going on. And Bethesda's like, oh shit, we have to do our jobs. So we might get some good remakes suddenly instead of waiting about 11 years for another game. I like Fallout 4 a lot. I really would like to see that engine doing a lot more. We've got an ad break in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Got about 2 minutes for a 3-minute ad. And there'll be big text that'll come up. But I'm going to keep doing this boring stuff. Of the CLs we have, there's only C5L. Not to mention, there's only a couple with the end L. C1L. But this wasn't C1L. We found C1L. It's somewhere else. There's CDL. Again, with lowercase d for some reason. C what L? I don't see it at all. Hey, what's up, Makes Mistakes? How you doing? Long time. Where was our C1L? That was elsewhere. But this clearly isn't a 1, and it doesn't really resemble a 5. It looks more like a 6. But C6L, C5L, C6C, that's not a C. C7A, no. C6A, that's not an A. C5C, 5L. That's not a 5. I think I installed 5L here, but I don't think that's 5L. I've got another it doesn't help if we've got 2 parts that are a complete mystery. And you know why this is a mystery is because this via right here has some kind of a silkscreen keep out area, or it just disturbed the keep out area around it. I don't know why the radius is that much, but it seems like everywhere. Well, that one's nice and close. Why does this suck? This thing sucks. Wait, what was this one? C2F. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the ad starts any minute. 4? What do the 4s look like? Find a 4. Where's a 4? There's a 3. R5. L something. Yeah, it really is like the worst. It's like silkscreen by tattoo artist. Ad break. All right, I'm looking for a 4 just for reference. We're really trying to get to a different part entirely, and this is not helpful. There's a bunch of 3s. Where there's 3, follow 4s, right? There's a 4. That's a 4. There's another 4 right there. Maybe the people who have dropped down in quality and are viewing this at like 480p will be able to actually see this better than me. These markings are incredibly frustrating. Sorry, I just passed it. Okay. Yeah, you're right. C4L. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. God, that was way too hard. And there was also C14 in view. So C4L, because the 4 is a little open 4. And the font, by the way, for this one is a closed top 4. It's very confusing. Not that you expect consistency between the two, but it's just one of those things. So, all right, what we're trying to do is figure out what this part is. I mean, R something 7 maybe, but there's no evidence of an R, and it just has this kind of like drop, and then there's something here that looks like, I don't even know, 2 little dots. This is why you include your PCB file when you distribute these, so that people like me can figure out what the hell this stuff is. So we got C2L, C4L, 5A, C1A, I'm assuming C5A, C1A, and C5A. C1A, C5A, C5L, C4A, C5A. Seven and L both appear to have a serif. Oh, all the work that I did in fonts, man. All right, so where are we? We have C7A, C2L. I think I got 2L. Did the ad block? Are we back? All right, everybody's back. We're still just trying to identify these caps and mark them off. Do we get C2L? C2C. They're like, I think they're identified by function. I don't know, the Thomas Henry schematics, I don't know if those would include all this stuff having the same part numbers. That would make sense for why this is so just crazy. All right, CDL we got. C1L, C3L. This is what I'm talking about. And they're 2 different values, 1L and 3L. But why L? C1L, C3L. I don't, wait, I already see, hold on. 1L and 3L. Oh, 3L. C1L. Oh, we already got that one. Wait. C1L, didn't we just get C1L? Or was I looking ahead a little bit? I can never tell. That's 4L. C1L. C1L is like buried over here. Why did I mark that one as... Am I confusing it with a different one? Did I think a different one was C1L? I'm trying to be thorough. It's impossible. C1F, C3F. Okay, I'm just going insane. All right, so DL we already got. 1L, 3L marked. 3A, 2A. 3A and 2A. It's like A, L, F. I think those are the different pieces of the circuit. So 3A and 2A. Doink. Doink. It's like if you knew the circuit better, I'm sure you could figure out what the pieces were and how they're grouped together. I'm starting to see that the A, B, C, D, E, and the L and the F are all grouped together by functionality. It seems like blocks of the circuit would probably get R1, 2, 3, 4, but then it would be, they would all be F. And then the next part of the circuit would get R1, 2, etc., but they would be like C or something like that. It's not a good way to do it. If I'm honest, it's not a good way. C1A, C5A, I'm going to assume. Now, did I already mark down C1 and C5? I did. C1A, yeah, okay. Yeah. If you know, you know. I, Y, N, K, okay, whatever. C7A, I marked, I believe. C7A? I don't see it. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, C7A, I'm marking on the paper. Let's see. Did 7A, C2C. Did we already do a C2C? No, we did not. C2C. Okay, good. No overlaps so far. All right, you know what? What's a pro amateur expert? C4A. 4C E C4 C4A. There we go. C4A. What? CDC? Is it? It's the CDC. Somebody tell Bill Clinton. CDC. And again, I'm just marking it off on the page. CDC. These are the worst silk screens that I've had to work with. So, if I deal with it, you have to deal with it too. CDC. 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 C5? No, that's a D. That's definitely a lowercase d. Been a long time enjoying the streams, says Pro Amateur Expert. Found a high-res image for that PCB. Let me know if you want the link. Yeah, sure. Yeah, link me to that. Does it have the markings in a slightly easier to read? Because, like, high-res isn't that big of a deal, except for the, like, dirt that's on it. CDC, CDC. Well, so that's something else. Oh, yeah. Hand that over, man. I need that. I'm using the genderless dude man. It's because, like, ugh. Oh my god, they're getting worse. From Google Docs. Huh. You've been scraping page 4. Okay, hold on. I'm going to open this up here. Oh. Look at that. Yeah, what is with the groupings of components on this? It's crazy. Oh my god, it's so much clearer. That's so much nicer. Oh, I can read. I can finally read. C3C, CDC, CBC. See, they're all in like little functional groups. Oh my god, that is so much better. Oh, I can finally read. I can finally read. Oh god, now I need to figure out which ones of these are wrong. Well, there's not much hooked up to them, so actually the Canada pinchers might be able to help me with that. So with these, I could actually glean whatever the value is. These aren't from Canada. The old ones were. Let's see. CBC. And I'm getting 7 microfarads. What? 7 microfarads. I never installed anything that was 7 microfarads. The capacitor in circuit readers can sometimes not be too accurate. All right, what was the mystery part then? Mystery part was nice to give some knowledge back for a change. I'm not asking for a change. Lyndon B. Johnson, LBJ. So this weird thing here, and that's down on midway. Which one is it? It's up a little bit. Oh, I hear lots of barking upstairs. So, what the... Okay, whoever did that. When I clicked, it just was like, okay, let's shove you in the corner. Okay, so we got the two little thingies like that. Doot doot. And then it's right above. So I think it's CBA. I never in a million years I would have guessed that. That's supposed to be a B, but the B is lowercase b, and then the top of the B for some reason didn't print, and so we're left with like a big J, like a big L. CBA. Ah, of course, yes. Of course. How could I not have known? That is crazy. This is going to be a long, arduous fix for me, getting all the right components in here. I almost feel like wiping the whole thing and starting over again, but I think that would be a little too labor intensive. It looks like it's about 4:30 though, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it quits here on the broadcast, and then tomorrow morning or maybe this evening, I'm going to go through and fix these so that we get into more circuit building. And I'm going to try to find that 7805, but I don't have anything like that anymore, I don't think. I had like one or two 7805s in the TO92 package, and it seems like I don't have anything. Our front panel is cooling on the printer. I think it just recently stopped making noise, so I'm going to have to wait for that to fully cool so we don't warp the board. And in the meantime, I'm going to get to some of this boring stuff. We're going to be soldering tomorrow. Without that 7805, I can't really like fully finish that module. If I have any good ideas of where I stored some 7805s, or if we really want to Frankenstein in an LM1117, we'll have to make that decision tomorrow and see if we can get one module working that I can put on the module tester and we can actually make some progress. But the builds continue. I keep racking up all of the devices that I need to order. And then, you know, we'll go late soon. Can we have a 555 too? No, no. There are some modules that use things like 555s. I don't know which ones those are. I think I'm going to avoid them like the plague. But anyway, yeah, so not a totally long stream today. I'm going to start thinking about how I can ramp that up and do longer streams, get more content, get more viewers, all that stuff, because it's been dropping off and I haven't been helping it. Anyway, next stream is tomorrow, and tomorrow is the 9th, isn't it? Yes, no, the 7th. Tomorrow's the 7th. I need to, oh God, today we're going from 6 to 7, aren't we? Rest in peace. Like, man, kids, you cannot choose two numbers that are in succession, like in sequence, because it's going to come up everywhere, because we count with numbers, right? We count with numbers. All right, there we go. IMP 1484. Did you just trick me into saying something like ICUP? Did you make me, was that what just happened? I don't, so can I actually get one quickly? That's the question. Amazon has all kinds of generic parts like that, which is why I look to them for, like, you know, the prime shipping thing. If I do, what is it? IMP, ICUP, MP 1484. Oops, that was an MPP. Oh, these are in the wrong package. Well, these are the ones that I'm finding are usually looking through like the Amazon stuff. I can find the generic ones. But it would have to be TO92. Yeah, it doesn't work. 7805 TO92. So all of these are August 18 to 27, so I might as well just buy them through like DigiKey. And that way they'll get here a little sooner. August 17th, 10 days. Yours are on little breakout boards? I see, yeah. 6-7 in particular comes from a brain rot song called Doot Doot by Skrilla. I know the song, and it's actually the Police Code. It's about a gang murder on 67th Street. No, it's wrong. There's a bunch of different things for 6-7. But from the Doot Doot song, it's actually in the local police codes. It's because he talks about hopping on to the next exit, hopping on the highway that goes through there until the next exit to sort of get out of the I don't know, whatever, the police area. But yeah, literally just 6-7 repeated for 3 minutes. I think that's the code for a murder in that area of Philadelphia. I think a lot of people are losing sight of that. They're starting to talk about like Chicago police codes and stuff, and yeah. There's a what was it? It was like a picture of him with the TV on, and it had like a reporter talking about 6-7. He's like, holy shit, I just put that in a song. Why is it on the news? But that's just what I was told or read or whatever, who knows. His set is on the 67th. What? All right. So, yeah, but most of the kids that are using that term don't know where it came from at all, so. You got the 76ers. I step away for 5 minutes. Yeah, because, I mean, people in this stream are detail-oriented people and like to really get into the weeds for stuff like that. All the ones that I can get delivered in a reasonable amount of time are the wrong package. And for some reason, I can't find the TO220 reasonably. I mean, obviously, I can go places other than Amazon. I'm just doing that because that's where I got Prime. But anyway, all right. So boring soldering stuff and sort of trying to figure out what parts are. We got completely, spoilered on that, which is great. It's good when people have this sort of information that I can't find. I sort of did a cursory search and I didn't really dig for the details. Where did the details go? Where did the Google document go? Where did it? Hold on a minute. Wait. No. Wait. It's in one of these, I think. But we got the answer, right? We got the answer for. Hold on, I'm just closing some of the stuff we don't need. This Delay No More is the one that we're making. Building a Delay No More, we're almost done. Building a denouement. Yeah, annoying that part right there. I seem to be running across these more often lately, and yet now I cannot find one. I've seen them all over. Actually, that was a useful page that I've opened. DigiKey has a bunch of these tables and stuff that they host. It's nice of them to take it away and host it. Here it is. So this was given to us by friend of the show, Pro Amateur Expert, whose name I've known from a long time ago. Pro Amateur Expert was lurking and was like, hey, I could find something better. And so they found a Google Doc with a bunch of information about the 570 Galore, including a nicer picture of the PCB where all the silkscreen markings haven't fallen off. That way we can glean, that's barely legible as C5A, but what worries me is that CBA, I hate it how it does that, CBA is right there, and I haven't installed it yet. I need to check over some of these and make sure that they're the right capacitor values. So that's going to involve me opening up a bunch of pages with tables on them and just checking and crossing stuff off. What the? E to the 2 pi. Oh my God. Hey, E to the 2 pi. Thank you for the raid. I was grinding down a little bit here. We were gonna finish before all the leaf blowers got to my window. Ah! Oh my God. Welcome in. Welcome. Willkommen. Welcome. We've been looking at this circuit. We've been looking at this circuit over here. And I've been soldering it. And we've been very confused about what stuff is on this board. With Modular Addicts, the website, you can go, and a bunch of other websites, you can go and you can buy modular synthesizer circuit boards, and they basically give you no information. So we've had zero information about any of the stuff that I'm building right now. Pi delivery, the E to the 2 pi. What the? Oh, that was just you saying, idea. First chat from Raider triggers automatically. Oh, triggers a fart automatically. No, man, they aren't free. These guys don't need any incentive to have more farts on the stream. It's kind of crazy. No, 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 no. The farts have magically been engineered very precisely in order to give us a certain number of farts per stream. I could think of something other than farts to let them interact with, but so far, yeah, you get 2 per stream. They don't need any more incentives here. We've had like this board, like what is this? What is this? What is this? What is that marking? I've had a lot of trouble with this board. Well, this is my new home. So we got some information from Jesus. It was Pro-Am. I don't know why the name isn't coming up immediately because I do remember them from a long time ago. Pro Amateur Expert was like, hey, I found a high-res image of that board, and they linked me to this Google Doc that has a high-res image of the board where I can actually make out what all the markings are, which is so, so useful. This is my new home now. Yeah, there's a channel point fart box. Eventually, I'm going to get the money gun working. I need to get another one of these RAID indicators working so that it can be sort of behind me on this camera, so I can have 2 of them on the wall, and it'll, make a cool effect. But we just found all this information out, so we don't need to go through and individually cross off capacitors one by one. Is the board still up? It's up. It's just not running. Traditionally on this channel, many years ago, I have this board on my wall which has an XY axis attached to it. It's a laser etching table, and it uses a blue laser to burn the names of subscribers onto a big board randomly. I was just about to ask about the board. A lot of people come in from 2016 to 2019 era, and they go, hey, Bother, what's up with the board? And I go, ugh, because I am completely burnt out on it. But I have plans, and we have a plan of action. We have steps that we need to follow in order to get the board back up. I'm trying to clear out some of this stuff, get the modular synthesizer back together so I can actually put that aside and then use that, play it and learn it and kind of make cool noises with it for stream. Yeah, burn out on burn the subs. I know, I understand. There's tons. BOARD. Jeez, you guys are same as my MIDI stuff. I burnt out of it completely on it. One day it'll return. It's one of those things you got to put on the back burner. You got to let it cool off a little bit and bring it back out. I'm burnt out on the board. I know exactly what I need to do. There's a couple things that I still want to do to make it a little bit smoother and more practical. But in the meantime, the systems that we were going to use to run the board are already obsolete. I don't know what I should be using. I can ask these. I don't know what's up with these people and their software projects, man. I need to not listen to any of them. What am I doing? Clipper? Am I doing KDE? Am I using Bazzite? What is it now? What is it going to be in a month? They never know. They don't tell you, but it changes, and they go, hey, you should uproot your entire system and do something completely different now. And it's like, no. it's what I'm dealing with the 3D printer is everybody says that I should go to Mainsail, but Mainsail's obsolete now, but you're using Super Slicer, but now you're using Prusa. Take a step back. I've been using this stuff as I've been using them for years. I'm going to continue using it in a working state. I am not going to be your little toy for updating to the latest and greatest software. What I have works. Yeah, it's so tiring after, if you're a bother, it is so tiring because I've been dealing with this for centuries now. I've been streaming for, since the dawn of time, and there's always something different, right? It's out of hand. Now, I would like to have those cool supports that they have on the other printers. So, yeah, getting locked into somebody's walled garden isn't always a bad thing. I mean, it's nice to have support for stuff. It's nice to be able to have things that are fixed, when something goes wrong, although I've had to fix things on my own by going deep into software before. It'll happen again. Anyway, I discovered 2 hours ago somebody is getting colored aluminum in a lasering. Whoa. Colored aluminum lasered business card. You mean like the thing where you anodize the aluminum and then you hit it with a laser and it'll change colors? Because that's a thing for a while. That's why front panels are often done in anodized aluminum. Yeah, and I guess you can, if you use different laser techniques, you can get them, you can change the color on it. What I wanted to do was a linear ultraviolet ink printer, and that way you can do plastic labels on stuff, and it could be full, you know, whatever you can do with 2D colors, you can get printed. There was this fellow who's fixing up an amusement park ride stuff. He has one of his things is he's got this huge like linear ultraviolet ink printer. I wanted to do that, and then I could have done all of my modular synthesizer panels in like carbon fiber, and they would have full color labels on everything. That won't, you know, wear away. But the linear thing is tough to do. Simone has one too. Oh, yeah, it does some really amazing stuff. Wait, that one has a Z-axis. Because you need to basically, instead of moving a piece of paper, you need to move your whole bed. So you need to fool the printer in several different, like you need to fool the printer that the paper's feeding, you know, all the paper feeds are there and that they're doing the right stuff. I thought we could have accomplished that, but my printer wasn't even using paper. I got one of those ink tanks and not very good. Yeah, that's what the goal would be. Just be able to like give just a regular old panel some nice labels. And then I could have had, you know, carbon fiber panels. That would have been really cool. Anyway, I'm wrapping up, guys. You guys have all suddenly everybody's coming out of the woodwork, and I'm like, my brain doesn't work so good, and I'm tired, and they just put grass clippings in all the air, so I'm gonna die. Ultraviolet printers are still expensive. Yeah, but conversions are a little cheaper. You stay up all night. Don't ever let me go. That's John B. Here's the end card. Here's the end card for the stream. I'm abandoning you. You guys are, get out of the car. You guys are. Father, can we see your dog? I would love it if Willow would spend time here. Willow has a bed under the desk, under my computer desk over there. Yeah, see, there's their bed. You can both see your bed in there and the photo that just came up. By the way, this thing right here, this thing is awesome. It's something that DeWalt sells for the battery packs, and it's designed to either power your car for an hour with 12 volts off of the battery pack so that you can swap batteries, or every 5 hours after that, it will check the battery voltage and top it off. And it plugs into the OBD port, the OBD2 port. My car doesn't have an OBD2 port, so I'm going to have to modify in an OBD2 port. I think I'm going to buy the cap for the old school port so that the pins that need to be connected to say that the cap is in place are, and then I'm going to modify a wire that goes into the cab of the car to the passenger side, and then I'll put an OBD port on there. OBD port is access to battery voltage directly. That's one of the features of it, so that it can read your battery voltage and see if it's good. So dodging it is a little weird, but it's only trickling it. Yeah, I actually have a solar panel that's plugged in through the cigarette socket, which is fine. It's just going backwards through a fuse. It's not providing battery, like full battery voltage or amps for anything. It's literally just trickle charging it. And a feature of the solar panels is the big diode. So yeah, it does like back of your head. You're like, it's like a start a fire. But no, it's actually, it checks out. It checks out. But yeah, that thing will be really cool because then I don't have to run like an AC cable across the driveway. Also, that thing was $40. It has no right to be that cheap. All right, not to endorse products on stream because I haven't even tried that thing yet. It might blow my car up. I want to install the OBD port for me so that I can do diagnostics on my car without having to open the hood. What is the panel feeding? What do you mean the panel? We talked about a bunch of different stuff that's unrelated. Like the device that I pointed out was for my car, so it would keep the battery topped off. The solar panel goes into the cigarette lighter of my car, and it's also keeping my battery topped off using the sun. It's a common thing. A lot of the car dealers do this, where they plug that in for maintenance when the car sits. My car sits for much of the day. I obviously I don't need it to get to work, and then I can borrow a perfectly normal inspected car, and my car is the last inspection is 2014. No, not 2014, 2024. So I do need to get that inspected and everything. I think it'll pass. I think it'll pass. I just need to get it registered and get it back over to the dealership. But at like once every couple weeks, I'll take it around the block a couple times. Not cold enough for a block heater. No, we're not in Finland. We're not in Finland, Pennsylvania. We're sort of the same climate ring as like Spain. The non-moving car. It's just because there are better cars for getting around that, you know, and I've not needed it. I've reached that age where all of my friends have fucked off and they all have families and stuff. So nobody's hanging out at night. Nobody's hanging out. So I go to the store. I go to Acme, and so if I'm going to Acme, I might as well use a newer car that I don't have to pay for. It sucks, but it's also just it's where we're at. So anyway, we're gonna get back to synthesizers tomorrow. I'm trying to wrap up. You guys have like suddenly everybody's here and talking. I've had to fill the past 4.5 hours with my own voice because nobody's around. Is it a car if it never moves? I drive it periodically. You know, take it around the block. All right. I gotta go. I guess probably walk the dog in this miserable weather where it's like stepping out into a hot tub. Thank you for that. You guys are gonna get the end card again, but man, all you people, all you guys show up. What do you mean, you people? All you guys show up like right at the end. Lurking is nice. I appreciate you guys for lurking. I don't know what we'll work on tomorrow, but it's probably gonna be eurorack related. We got this close to building a module, and that really annoys me. I need to find a power supply for it. We'll see if I can find one, or we'll figure something out, right? We'll work on something electronic. It might just be soldering resistors, but I would love it if you guys would join me, and I'll catch you then. See you later. Bye. Don't let the door hit you where the dog should have. Well, she doesn't really bite. She'll just wag her tail and sit on your foot.